All righty, let's get this shit show on the road.
Good evening, everyone. Highlights of the news: traffic accident. Beaver County man being held for murder. More later.
What's going on, y'all? You're tuning in to the highest rated, most listened to podcast to ever grace the airwaves, and you're a better person for listening to us. All right, maybe not, but you're really going to enjoy it anyways. This is Made to Motivate Podcast, and we'll be talking social media hot topics, pop culture news, the greatest in movies and music, and all things sports. Make sure you're following us on social media at Made to Motivate Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can watch the show on our YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, and with that being said, let's get this show started.
Boobs.
Boobies. I like boobies.
Just wanted that to be the first word of this episode.
Boobies. What is going on, y'all? This is Made to Motivate Podcast, Season 6, Episode 7. This is your host, Ryan Weiss. I'm joined, as always, by the one and only Christopher Great Lakes
Chillwave.
Kessinger.
What's going on, man?
How's it going, sir?
Pretty good.
Akron Arrows.
Akron Arrows, CM Punk. I mean,
Yeah.
what more can you ask for?
Stupid ducks.
Stupid dicks. Bring your own chairs.
That's right. Shut them down.
What? You can't sit down there?
Down. Daniel,
What's
Calvin Klein, Sandmann.
Chris Kessinger.
Calvin Klein, what's up?
What's going on, sir?
Another day.
Who's
day.
Calvin Klein?
Yeah.
It's written all over your underwear.
So dreamy.
What's going on, guys? What's we got another fun-filled episode for you. If you haven't listened to the other ones, maybe do that first. But if not, you're already here.
Who's our guest
We
tonight?
got a show going. We're guest hosted by
Jesse
this
Young,
blank
right?
screen. I hope you enjoy. And the two gents that are always here. We got my two co-hosts. Hopefully something works out and Dan stays around for a little while longer, or we're going to be Jesse'd, and it'll be me and Chris.
Oh.
But we'll figure that out.
And nobody wants that.
No one wants that. Christopher, what's new? What's exciting? What's happened since our guest episode with Mr. Marvin Montgomery Jr.?
Yeah, that was a great episode
It was
too.
a good
I listened to
episode.
that twice. Yeah, solid episode. Just finished up with the pool tournament, so we're done with that finally.
Yeah.
The makeup from January, which was all month long during March. Brad Biltz, who was our guest 2
Wow.
episodes ago, ended up winning the whole damn thing.
I can't believe it.
Yep, defeated me in 9 games and defeated Chris in 8. Yeah, 8.
Only time dual champion.
No, me.
I mean for mini golf. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you said he was the. I thought on.
No,
the
I
post-
said he was the second. Yep.
person.
Yeah, we both are.
Okay.
But here's the thing. He's got a future title shot for the mini golf.
You
He
hold
could
at
be
the
the
same time.
first to
Okay.
have both at the same time.
Wow.
That would be interesting.
Don't fuck
Yeah.
up, Dan.
Hey,
Don't fuck it up. Don't give Brad any
I
more things
will.
to brag about.
He goes, hey.
I'll do my best to defend. I'm a humble champion.
I am too. I was heel when like my first 4 reigns or so. Then I was like, yeah, enough of this shit talking stuff, man. I'm costing myself. But yeah, just besides that, getting ready 4 weeks from now, vacation, slaycation at home.
Nice.
Got 6 more restaurants I'm going to be checking out that I've never been to. So
Heck
That's
yeah.
next week.
no, 4 weeks from now.
Oh, 4 weeks from now.
4 weeks from Friday, I'll be on vacation.
Selective hearing.
Want to give us a little preview of where you're gonna go, or are you gonna keep it a secret?
I'll give you one.
Give me one.
Youngstown has a place called the Mac Haas.
Okay.
And I've seen this all over Facebook, these huge macaroni and cheese like sandwiches that are different combinations. Some are like barbecue,
Yeah.
different things on them. They look amazing. So
Dude, that just sounds uncomfortable though. Like I guarantee it's delicious and
Yeah.
amazing, but the way you're gonna feel after, the way that I would feel after,
yeah.
is just like, is it worth it?
I love me some mac and cheese.
Yeah, I do too. And like they used to have that mac and cheese store. What was it in Highland Square?
Yeah.
Is it still there?
Yeah. I think it's owned by the same people as Zubs,
Okay.
and they opened it in the old Zubs when they moved it over. I can't remember what it's called. Cheech and
Yeah.
Mac and Cheech and something.
Something like Cheech and Chong.
Yeah,
like,
it's Cheech and Chong type name, but
they had a really good Philly steak one that was amazing. So we'll see.
yeah,
That's one of them. Then I've got, a few others that I want to check out.
dope. Daniel, what is new and exciting with you, sir?
I don't think there's anything new and exciting my way.
No.
Just been chilling.
Chillax.
I was hoping to start my job this month, but I got my vacation coming up in a couple of weeks. Well, next Saturday I leave.
Yeah.
Golf trip. So the job didn't want to start me during a training week. So, or then I'll be gone in a training week. So I'm starting in May.
Golf trip. I just want to do what they do for the mini golf league. Golf trip.
No, they want in. They want in, man. So yeah, I don't think I have anything going on.
That's fine. That's fine.
God, you're so boring.
I know.
And not much new on my end either. I'm right there with Dan. Just kind of been chilling, sewing like crazy. Got the Etsy shop going. I signed up for Porch Rocker, which I'm actually really excited for. So I haven't done that since 2018, I think. Yeah. So
what is that and when is that?
So Porch Rocker, it's August 20th, Saturday. It's in Highland Square. They move it from like sections of the neighborhood every year. So it's in like a different neighborhood of Highland Square each year. So what it is a band or a music and art festival, and bands sign up to play from people's porches. People like volunteer to allow their house to be used for that day for a band to set up and play sets there throughout the day. And then a bunch of merchants set up. So I always did it with the fashion truck. And in 2019, they actually reached out to me because I hadn't signed up because I had sold the truck and asked if I would be coming. But we had just moved that year and I was like, I don't got time for that. But I let them know. I was like, no, but I'll absolutely be back in 2020. Well, we all know what happened then. So
did they run it even with those years with COVID?
No. So 19, I think, happened because it was before it happened. But 20, we didn't have one. I don't think 21 we had one. But anyway, so I saw that they were advertising it, and I was like, this would be fun to do again. I still have all of my display stuff, and with really getting my Etsy relaunched, I'm like, I can make a bunch of bags to sell there and get shirts going again.
I can make some bags.
Come hang out.
Dude, like, how many do you even prepare for that though? Like how many would you even get ready?
I wouldn't do so. What I would probably do is have a handful or so to sell there, and then maybe do like orders, take orders. But then all of my other stuff that I have too, I'll sell there. But I've got a pretty cool like mobile setup that I can use now that I don't have the truck. So I'm like, I'll sign up. It goes through like an application process though. Like you have to go online and submit, and then they have a panel. Because it's all like it's actually like a nonprofit organization. So they have a panel of people that take all the applications, and then like because they only have room for so many places.
Panel, you're using my picture, okay?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, dude, you should have lifetime access for that.
I jokingly was gonna say like in my application to them, I think I have a free spot, right? Because I mean, they use pictures of me and the truck every single year. The cover photo on the website at one point was a picture of me hanging out the truck, like waving to them or something like that, But anyway, so I'm excited for that. Work's getting done in the house. I really need to get myself like kind of organized and get some of the work done around here that I want to do.
Your bench seats.
I do the bench seats, the entertainment center. I got to do the brick outside. Now I got to paint the siding because it's got that disease and all kinds of stuff I got to do. So I just got too many things going on, and then summer's coming, and I'm not gonna want to do all this stuff. Boat season's coming, so
yeah, we've got a certain bitch that
Jesse. We'll see if he shows up. We gotta get him back on the show. We gotta get him on like a 1 episode a month contract or something.
Yeah,
he's got to do something, man.
Yeah, we don't ever see him anymore. I know that Dick ain't sitting at home doing nothing all the time.
Dude, do we need to do another hot challenge to get him on the show?
Right? Come on, Jesse.
Hot Gum Part 2.
I thought we were friends.
He can put off trivia night for one night. He can come in and do it.
Or Pokemon for one day.
Yeah. I'd like to get Jesse back on. If you're interested in being a guest, now is the time. We might have some just empty seats periodically, and we'd love to have you come on and talk with us and just hang out. Even if you don't have anything super exciting to talk about, and you just want to come on and BS with us,
dude, you could do the. We can do the show outside. We can
absolutely
chill on the porch. We can chill on the deck.
I should bring this to Porch Rocker.
Yeah,
like that idea Marv had was pretty cool.
Yeah,
have vendors come and like sit. Maybe we do 2 booths: a podcast booth and then an art booth. Yeah. We can like talk with the vendors.
I like that.
That'd be pretty dope. But anyways, that's really it with me. What do we want to talk about? We've got a little bit of sports. We got a little bit of Let's Get Social, and of course, as always, we've got a lot of Hollywood.
Let me jerk it tonight.
You want a jerky jerk?
Yeah.
All right, Christopher.
a big one. It's a big jerk.
Burr, burr, burr.
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm! Wait. Everybody, calm down! Two Steve, assemble!
Christopher, the Film Freak Kessinger.
How's it going?
Well, it's been 2 weeks since the last show, so I'm sure Hollywood is just full of lots of exciting things. What's new? What's happening? What's
Sure, it's
hot?
slapping.
It's slapping.
What's the haps?
What's the slap? Daniel.
A little bit of everything on this one. First of all, we're going to start with video games like we always do at this time. And the 13th Tomb Raider game has now been put in development. So yes, even after 24 years of these games dominating the what are you laughing at?
Just this is crazy because the one thing that you think about with Tomb Raider is that frick.
I was thinking the same thing in my head. I was waiting for Chris to finish though.
The what?
I know it.
The pool.
Yeah.
Like
The
all right, you gotta do this,
the
this,
Dreamcast and PlayStation version when it first came out, and she had the triangle Madonna boobies, and everyone thought that if you went and climbed up on like a fountain and tried to jump in, that the animated, pixelated Tomb Raider Laura Croft, we were gonna see her without a shirt on, and we all thought that was the greatest thing ever. How fucking lame. Bro, me and my brother Chris tried for hours
Mhm.
I tried
to
hours.
get that to happen.
So a different
That's so
developer
funny.
has taken it over, Crystal Dynamics this time. And Crystal Dynamics is known for a few, like they did one Red Dead game, Red Dead Redemption. I think that's how it's pronounced, correct?
Yeah,
That's supposed to be a really
that's
good
probably
game I've never
the
played.
best of the
Yeah.
Red Dead series.
So basically they're taking this series over. They're going to quote unquote inject some new life into this franchise. They said it's still going to be an adventure game. The basic rules. Huh?
Bigger boobies.
Is that what you want out
I
of
don't
the
know.
game?
We'll see.
Bigger, better looking.
When I was closing in on my chapter of video game knowledge, the Tomb Raider games were just getting big. So for me, I think this is kind of a nice welcome back, for anybody who may have put the joystick down, put the controller down. This is not a sexual euphemism, I promise you. But yeah, it's
Put your joystick away.
this will be the first game since 2018's The Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and that kind of dismissed with a lot of negative reviews. So they're looking to pick it up and dust it off.
I haven't played a Tomb Raider game since the pixelated Madonna boobies one.
So that was Dreamcast, you said?
The Dreamcast and the original PlayStation, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
What are is there any franchise that you guys would want to see just rejuvenated, like brought back, that's considered dead right now for the video game?
I don't know
Oh,
any that I
man,
really
on
have
the
followed or
spot.
played that aren't still around. Like Call of Duty is a big one that I play, and that I think that will be around forever.
Yeah.
Halo. I mean, they just relaunched or had a new one for that come out. So
Now they got the show out too.
Yeah. So I mean, those are the two main properties I play, and then like Nintendo stuff, like Mario, which goes on forever.
Yeah.
Zelda's
always still there.
There's not really anything I can think of. Dan, you're big into the race car ones and stuff. Those seem to go on forever.
Yeah.
Horizon. And
Right. Those free roam ones are
Yeah.
always fun, but I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
I probably will think of it tomorrow, but right now I can't think of a game that I would want rebooted.
They're all kind of just out there right now.
The only one I really want is the original GoldenEye.
I don't know. like
Yeah.
a
I just
Soul
want them
Calibur.
to re-release it.
Remaster it.
Like I'm cool with it. I just want the exact same original game,
Mhm.
but I just want to be able to play it on like my Xbox.
I still have it on my N64,
Me
man.
too.
It's probably first or second best game in my opinion.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Dan's got it hooked up at his house, but like it's just hard to play it on newer TVs. Like,
Yeah.
they need to reformat it so that we can play
The
it
resolution
on a
is too low,
Yeah.
and the TV is filling in like these high def TVs now with the 1080p or whatever.
Yeah.
The resolution on those games is what 480 interlaced.
Yeah.
So your TV is filling in 700 or 800 lines of resolution on its own. And I was trying
It's
to
a
play
mess.
GoldenEye the other day, and you can't see like the brightness adjustments and stuff.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, you can't see the
especially your TV.
soldiers.
Yeah.
No, I put it on a smaller one. I put it on
Oh,
a big one.
okay. So
So-
that's got to look
not
ridiculous.
his movie screen.
I'm grabbing my dad's old tube TV from his basement.
Yeah.
Should
And
have
I'm
got
gonna-
that today.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's like 250 pounds.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
It's big,
I
big
gotta-
boy.
We got to take it up from his basement up, put it in the car, bring it over, then take it up
Jeez.
the flight of stairs. hopefully it'll sit on the TV stand that I grabbed off of Facebook Marketplace.
Extended warranty on that TV?
Oh, fuck. I messaged those sons of bitches. All right.
But
yeah,
games.
that's it. GoldenEye. I'd love to see GoldenEye brought back. I just miss playing that, and I've got my 64, but it's just a pain to have those hooked up, So
I think a lot of
What
what
about you?
fuels this decision, and they haven't admitted this yet, but we had that Laura Croft movie that came out in 2017, I believe it was, and it did, mediocre success. I didn't think it was a great movie, but it made its money for sure. So there's still life to be pumped out of this franchise, and I think anytime you have any sign of life like that, I think video gamers are going to come along. Yeah, they're going to take advantage.
Who
of the
is the
situation.
new Laura Croft? I mean, no one's better than Angelina Jolie.
The last movie you mean?
Yeah, like who plays her now?
What was her name? It was the girl from Ex Machina. I'm drawing a blank right now. Alicia Vikander.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Smoking fucking hot.
I think better than Laura Croft. I mean,
Yes.
Laura Croft.
Yeah.
Better
Better
than
than
Angelina. Well,
Yeah.
see, I don't think Angelina Jolie is that
in her prime.
Nah, even like, dude, I thought she looked like a fish.
Wow.
Alicia
One of them
Vikander.
Mario fish.
Yeah, exactly. The puffers. Yeah, I thought Alicia Vikander gorgeous. I may not have liked the movie, but God, she was fun to look at.
Gotta look her up now.
Yeah. So so that's some good news though for video game fans. Transitioning over to music for a minute. We've talked about various passings on this show before. This is the one that probably has hit me the hardest personally, as I'm a huge Foo Fighters fan. Taylor Hawkins passed away a couple of weeks ago, the 50-year-old drummer of the Foo Fighters and Alanis Morissette in his earlier days. The cause of death is still unknown. He passed away in his Columbia hotel room while the Foo Fighters were on tour. So there's a lot of questions, a lot of mystery revolving around this passing. Some people are already making claims.
Yeah.
The crazy Ted Nugent has made a claim himself, which he's getting called out for currently. He called him a drug head and all that. And he basically said, why are we respecting somebody who's a druggie? It's
That's
Ted Nugent to a T.
Yeah. Like people need to stop like assuming things. Just wait till the facts come out.
I agree.
Especially when it comes to somebody high profile and famous and an inspiration to people. Just wait.
And he completed rehab. I mean, he did it in 2018, which granted, it's not saying a lot. I mean, people can relapse, sure, but like he did complete it. So if there was kind of a relapse here, it's kind of a surprise.
Yeah, but there's still underlying the mental things that cause it. So you got to respect the person either way in life and in death. So it's just those assumptions need to stop.
But I just want to say what Taylor Hawkins meant to me a lot, man, because like I said, I mean, I was a big Nirvana fan growing up. So like Foo Fighters picked up where Nirvana left off. Obviously a lot more than just David Grohl being the drummer turned now singer of this new band. They had a very distinct sound that kind of picked up the pieces of the fallen grunge genre of music. And I always followed the Foo Fighters throughout. And I thought Taylor Hawkins, for a guy who stepped into an immense shadow of Dave Grohl, arguably the greatest drummer going today, and having to pick up the drumsticks, if you will, and put that band together, their rhythm section, had an immense responsibility and an irreplaceable shadow that will never be filled no matter who they get, if they even continue to go on.
Yeah.
Crazy enough, this week, I took the opportunity. Ryan got me a record player for Christmas last year, and the record he got me was the Foo Fighters' greatest hits for it. And I listened to it one time before then. Since Taylor Hawkins has passed, I've listened to that thing 4 times front to end. And yeah, it's kind of nice to reflect on it, but it's so surreal when you hear somebody's musical influence on a song or an album long after they're gone.
Yeah.
And Taylor Hawkins for me will be missed. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't follow. I'm not great about the individual artists for the most part. I mean, there's certain bands where I know like all the individual members, but I mean, Foo Fighters as a whole, great band. Someone I always listened to growing up. So it's sad to see, to hear about his passing and obviously the impact that's going to have on the band. And I think they had a tour that they canceled, obviously
they had 8 more dates and they canceled all of them. Yeah.
So, it's hard to see. And I second what Dan said. I mean, let the people grieve and go through, the motions and stuff without having, I mean, you got to think if one of us, has someone that passes away, we don't have to see all of the world talking about why they might have died, over and over again. Like, it's just anytime they turn on anything, it's a constant reminder of that person's death. And
for a celebrity, how it's all polarized.
It's got to be it's so traumatizing. So in that essence, very sad. He'll be missed in the music community. I mean, he was a phenomenal musician. So very, very sad. And I second your point too, with like, it's weird to listen or watch someone that you know has like just recently passed or has passed, and like seeing them like movies. I was watching a movie just the other day, and I can't remember who was in it that passed not too long ago.
Mhm.
And it's just like weird to see them alive and living, knowing that they're not here.
Yeah.
You know, it's a really awkward, weird sensation. But yeah, very, very sad. We'll keep all of them in our thoughts and everything, and hope that they can piece their band together and figure out, you know, what they do going forward. It's their livelihood, and it's not someone that can be replaced, but you still have to fill that spot, you know, at some point. So
it's tough because I recently finished Dave Grohl's book, and a lot of that book has to do with death.
Yeah.
Not just from Kurt Cobain, obviously, but like other band members. This guy has lost a ton of band members along the way. So it's tough for him. And it kind of seems like the bands that he's a part of that loses a band member, they kind of don't continue.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are kind of putting their money on what side this is going to go.
Yeah.
For me, it's too early, obviously. Like you said, let them grieve, you know, let them, you know, deal with whatever they're dealing with. Taylor Hawkins will always have an untouchable legacy on this group. I just think, I don't know, it's tough to continue knowing that like that group will never be the same as it once was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just talking as good as they once were, but they won't be whole. Like Taylor Hawkins has been in the Foo Fighters since the day one of that group.
It's hard to continue on that legacy without him, you know.
Yeah.
Like you play those shows, go out there with your bandmates, and him not be there. You're always going to have that kind of like weight, you know.
Yeah.
So I imagine that's got to be very hard.
I mean, next to Dave Grohl, he's probably the most notable
Oh, for sure.
part of that band. So
Absolutely.
it sucks for what could happen and in the band if that's the route they go. But
yeah. I think for the most part, it'd probably end up being something like a, you know, they don't continue to play on a normal basis, but maybe they do a reunion tour down the line or something, you know, and they have someone come and play drums, a studio drummer or something like that. But I probably, like you said, they probably won't continue to make music as the Foo Fighters.
Do you think Dave does double duty?
I mean, the thing is if they want to continue, there's a lot of very talented drummers out there that they could bring. I mean, you could bring in Barker if you wanted to. I don't think he's actively like in a band full time. He messes around with MGK on occasion and stuff.
Producer,
But I mean, you could have him come in and drum for you if you want. I mean, he's within that similar genre. I'm sure they all know each other. There's people that could play. I mean, Grohl in studio, by all means, obviously he can go ahead and do it. But if you go on tour, obviously you have to have someone. Yeah. You know, you have to have a tour. My buddy actually does that for a living.
Really?
His name's Mike Robinson. Really good dude. He played in a couple bands here locally, and then he moved to LA. And now he's a studio drummer for major bands, and he gets to travel the world.
Yeah.
When they go on tour, he will tour with them. And I mean, the pictures and stuff he posts, so like the shows and stuff he goes to, it's like, what a cool job. Yeah. You just get to drum for huge band names and then follow them on tour and play with them.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah. I think this whole thing is, you know, it puts into perspective how big Taylor Hawkins' influence was. Like, to me, you always expect that like the band members are going to come out and they're going to say something about it. You always expect their families are going to too. Yeah. But like, to me, it was the musicians who came together, like Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails. You had all these different people that were like the remaining members of Pantera coming out there. I didn't even know these guys were friends at all.
Yeah.
But like,
it's that respect.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like, a lot of people looked up to Taylor Hawkins, and he will definitely be missed for sure. While I didn't give Studio 666, their recent movie, a passing grade, I will say now that Taylor Hawkins has passed, it kind of creates a strange kind of irony in context for the movie to watch this. I mean, especially considering like this is a horror movie and these are the members getting offed one by one. So like, it's surreal, man. And that was 2 weeks before Taylor passed away that I saw this movie. Yeah. So weird timing all around. Moving on a little bit, there's also some sad notes in the world of movies, but not so much deaths, but rather retirements. And that's in the form of Bruce Willis and Jim Carrey. We got two big retirements this week, guys. This is a big blow for sure. Yeah. So however you feel about Bruce Willis, however you feel about Jim Carrey, you cannot mistake their legacies on the world of acting. Bruce Willis recently found out that he was he came down with aphasia, I think
Yeah.
is the name of it.
Yep.
So basically it's something to do with your cognitive abilities to pick up on things, to remember things.
Trauma to the brain.
Yeah. So he is having a difficult time remembering lines on set, and he thought that it was as good a time as ever to finally say goodbye. First, we'll go with Bruce first. Guys, memory. What are your memories of Bruce Willis?
Fifth Element, Die Hard.
I love the orange suit.
I mean, he
Mila Jovovich.
he's a great actor, and just the seriousness and badass filmmaking that he's a part of. I don't know. It's gonna suck not seeing him. I mean, he's getting older.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this disease is taking over. You know.
Yeah, it's I mean, he's 65 years old.
Yeah.
And you know, at the end of the day, he's considered old even by that profession.
Yeah.
So like, you know, for him to have done it as long as he's had a career for 40 plus years
Right.
in the acting business.
And
that's remarkable.
An amazing career.
Yeah.
To boot. So
And
very successful.
Insane catalog.
Oh yeah.
Of movies. For the longest time, he was my favorite actor.
Really?
Growing up, I loved Bruce Willis. It didn't matter what movie it was. I was going to see it in theater. Like Dan said, I just loved, he was just that action star badass, you know? And it's just weird to think about, and I'm sure like our parents feel this way. I think like every generation probably feels this way, but it's weird to see all of like the big stars that we watched growing up all moving on, either passing away or retiring. And it's like, I don't feel there's people filling their spots.
Well,
like I don't like, it doesn't seem like we have the same caliber of actors and actresses coming up behind them. And I don't know if it's just because like we're set in our times, you know, like I still listen to all the same bands I listened to growing
Nostalgia.
up, and some of the bands now don't meet that criteria, but it's like so many of those actors are like getting older and moving on, and it's like, ugh, I think who is that star now? You know, who are those big blockbuster? We've talked about it on here before. That big blockbuster name, Stallone or some, you know, Cruise and all of them. They're not going to be around much longer.
I think with the exception of The Rock, the one name action star is dead. I hate to say that, but like, you know, you see at the top of a movie poster Schwarzenegger or Willis or, you know, Stallone, like that is dead to me. Though that was a product of like the late 80s, early 90s, especially though. Like
who's the action star badass now?
The Rock.
I mean, he's
John Cena,
which is sad to think about because I mean, look, I love The Rock. I think I love him as a wrestler. I think he's I think of him
Chris
more
Pratt.
Get the fuck out of here. I think of him
mute that much.
I think of him more comedic. Like he plays in action movies, but I think of him more comedic. Like when you think of Bruce Willis or Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger or like those guys, you think of like that hard gritty action star.
They got
like,
their one-liners.
Do we have that?
What about Keanu?
Keanu, I would say, but even he's got to be in 50s, right?
Yeah.
Late 40s, 50s. So I just don't feel like we have that big name action star that's around that, you know, you immediately think of like action packed movies. What is he? How old is he? 45? 52?
I did not think Keanu Reeves was 57 years old.
Okay, I was gonna say, I thought he was getting up there.
We're gonna lose Keanu.
Yeah. That's what I mean. You see all the movies. Who's the big name action superstar?
Well, I said it's The Rock because he's the biggest moneymaker every year. I mean, a lot of that has to do with his contract. He's signed to like a $30 million per picture deal.
Yeah.
So like he's the richest.
I mean, if we're filming a Die Hard today or a Rambo today,
that's
who
tough.
are you casting in that?
That's tough.
You know, like I don't think we have that. I don't think we have that person.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is we don't really have those hardcore action movies anymore.
Yeah.
Now all that action is in these comic book
It's
movies,
true.
the Marvel universe, and
because we didn't really have
DC.
those much.
Well, there you go. It might become the next. No, Batman.
No,
I was thinking Pattinson possibly, but I mean, I don't know. That's a good point though. Like we didn't have these continuous superhero movies back then.
Yeah.
We had more of the action movies, and that's kind of transitioned to now we have all the Marvels and the DC stuff.
Primary
You know, we
focus,
had like the Batman here or there, and we had a Superman, but nothing super dynamic. But I don't know. It's just weird to see.
So the argument against Dwayne Johnson in that question you asked, as far as who would you cast in the Die Hard movie. Like Die Hard, you have to remember John McClane is a badass, but at the same time, he's also vulnerable. He's also human. So at the end of the day, a lot of his pain and his agony that he goes through on that devastating night, that's what sells the movie for me anyway. Like he very much bleeds like I bleed. I see that same comparison between us. Like, what would I do if I were in that predicament? So you have to find somebody who has that relatability. My honest pick, honestly, would be Chris Evans.
Oh, I could see that.
You know, I think Chris Evans is an everyman, just like Bruce Willis was. And I think like he's, I don't want to say wholesome. He's human enough. That like he feels relatable.
I think that's a fair depiction.
Yeah.
I still think he's a little too pretty boyish.
He is.
But I think that's probably the closest thing you're going to have. Because like Bruce Willis had that nitty gritty, like in real life. Like he felt that, like his character felt like who he really was.
Oh, for sure. That's why he played it so well.
You know, whereas I could see, I think that's a good one. Other than he's a little soft, but
he is a pretty boy. I will say that. But I think, especially with the focus nowadays, they want to sell a pretty face rather than a rough and tumble.
It's got America's ass.
He does have America's ass. And 1.5. Huh?
All right, Jim Carrey.
So Jim Carrey is stepping away, not based on any condition or anything, but rather just exhaustion, creative exhaustion. And he's actually going to become a painter. He said he's going to start selling
doing that for
paintings. Yeah, he's going to start selling them by the summer, he said.
Yeah.
So
that's exhausting. Like,
have you seen it though?
His paintings?
His art's real good.
I have not seen it.
I haven't seen it.
There was a I think maybe HBO, there was a documentary about him, and it was him in his art studio. I mean, we're talking paintings as big as this room.
That's not the Netflix one, right? The Man on the Moon?
It might have been. I don't remember, but I know for sure they show him in his studio doing paintings and them massive canvases, and he's really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he found a passion that he liked, and you know, it's just interesting. Like Sonic 2 is coming out this week, and that's going to be the last one. He said he hasn't ruled off coming back to acting,
taking a break,
but he said it's going to be a long break,
Tom Brady,
no matter what. Yeah, maybe
back in 3 months when someone offers him a really good deal.
It's like 40 days, man. So I want to ask the same question. When you think of Jim Carrey, what do you think of?
God.
You know, obviously comedy is there, but he doesn't get enough credit for his dramas too. And that's kind of for me. I always loved him in like
Spotless Mind.
Spotless Mind is phenomenal. Man on the Moon, his performance deserved an Oscar nomination. The fact that it didn't get one, but it won the Golden Globe is ridiculous to say the least.
Yeah.
And then I Love You, Philip Morris is one that not a lot of people have seen, but really good.
I like him.
I don't think I've seen any of those.
Lemony Snicket, yeah.
I don't think I've seen any of those.
Oh God, you've got.
You haven't seen Man on the Moon,
bro?
No.
Man on the Moon's fantastic.
Oh wow.
Spotless Mind, absolutely phenomenal movie.
Yep. That's Charlie Kaufman, one of my favorite directors. Yep.
I mean, I think obviously you think of like Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
You know, that's a huge one. Dumb and Dumber. All those like early '90s comedies were like, yeah. I mean, as Riddler,
Batman Forever.
Fantastic comedian.
The Mask.
He's just a superstar. I mean, again, another extraordinary catalog of movies, and like you said, I mean, they're very diverse. What is it?
Bruce Almighty.
Great movie.
Yes, man. Yeah.
Great comedies, but great, you know, serious films as well. He over the last 5 or so years though, he started to kind of stray. You know, he started being very like outspoken and like, I don't want to say he was kind of losing it, but he kind of was coming off like he was losing it a little bit. You know, he was very like on edge and like having a lot of real like kind of out there conversations and stuff. And I'm sure that life of being in front of the camera forever, I mean, like his career similar to Bruce, I mean, for a very long time, starts to weigh on you. It's a very hard life to live, being watched every second of your life, everything that you do. And I mean, good to step away. It's going to be sad. It's weird that Sonic's going to be the last movie we think of for him possibly, but that's another star that you just don't replace. Who's the next Jim Carrey, you know? Well, there's a lot more comedians than there are like badass superstar like action film people, but
there is, but like Jim Carrey's comedy was so distinct that he put his own identity on it. So like physical comedy, bodily humor is nothing that's new, and
he was like a Robin Williams
comedy. But yeah, that's a pretty good comparison. But like when you see somebody doing like an act that's similar to it, they'll automatically say, oh, so you're trying to be Jim Carrey, right? That's when you know you've left an imprint on the business. So yeah, like on the Sonic thing, it's weird because that's a franchise that like it or hate it, it's making money right now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's probably going to be a third movie. So like this puts the producers and the directors in such a strange bubble because it's like, what do we do? Do we recast Dr. Robotnik, the biggest villain in this universe? You can't do that. Jim Carrey's so good as this role. So it's hard to say. For me, the one movie I always go back to, my favorite Jim Carrey movie is Liar Liar.
Yes.
You know, it's a combination of everything that's great about him. He's very sharp with the tongue, but he's also has tremendous bodily physicality in this movie. And I think if you've never seen a Jim Carrey movie, that's the one I'd recommend.
Yeah. What's your well, two questions. One, your Sonic comment, you know, whether it's doing good or bad. What around the room? I enjoyed it. Didn't enjoy it. I loved Sonic.
I liked. I didn't mind it at all.
You liked it?
I thought it was middle of the road. I gave it a 5 out of 10. I remember. Yeah.
I'm glad they redid Sonic.
I think
I love that.
The design.
The design of it.
Yeah. No. That I agree with. The design, the graphics have no problem with whatsoever. My problem with the movie is it's a little too by the numbers when it comes to like a buddy comedy film. It feels like a lot of other movies that I've seen, and it doesn't really flesh out that Emerald City or Green City, as they call it now in the movie.
Yeah,
that you want to see. The second one looks like it does it a little more. I'm gonna watch that tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
Sonic?
Yeah.
Oh, dope.
I got an early screening of it. I got it on Friday, and I've been putting it off since then.
I'm excited for it. I loved Sonic.
Yeah.
What would be just right off the rip favorite Jim Carrey movie? Like, what do you think of, like, if you're gonna watch one? You can watch over and over again. Like, what's a Jim Carrey movie you like continuously?
It'd probably be Ace Ventura.
If you can only watch one for the rest of your life.
What's a movie you think that you watch that you'd be okay with just watching over and over? Like, is there a Jim Carrey movie that you feel yourself typically going back and watching quite often?
I'm trying to think of one that has everything. What?
The Mask is another one that I could watch all the time. I'd have to put Ace Ventura as the one that would be my go-to.
I'm trying to think of one that encompasses comedy and drama. Well, because I want the best of both worlds. If I'm only going to watch one,
you can't have the best of both worlds, Chris.
I can. It's called The Truman Show.
Oh,
so there you go.
It's a great movie.
That's my pick.
Truman Show.
Yeah. Well, he's a dramatic actor in that movie. That was when the Academy first took note of him as a dramatic actor. Like, that was the first movie where you're like, this guy really has depth.
Yeah.
But he's still funny as hell in that movie too. Like, he comes up with such. Just conspiracy comedy that's at its funniest and brilliant.
I would say it's tough to narrow down to one. I mean, the couple that I watch a lot, like continuously can watch over and over again, are obviously Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber. I love, and then I haven't as of late. I used to watch Bruce Almighty all the time.
That was one of my first DVDs.
Like, over and over and over again, I would watch that movie. I've been watching Evan Almighty a lot lately.
Oh yeah. I've only seen that once.
That's so good.
My whole life.
I think it's real good. But his catalog is just so big. I mean, he has so many fantastic movies out there. I'd probably go Ace Ventura though. It's a classic.
Same with Dumb and Dumber though.
Dumb and Dumber is great. Horrible sequel, but man, that first one is really good.
Can I like get all of them on the same DVD?
Is it the master?
Put like an 8-hour cut together?
Yeah,
that would be fantastic.
If we can do that, then we have to change the rules.
Right.
But yeah, Jim will be missed. Bruce will be missed. It's a big loss for Hollywood, man. It's a rough week for sure. Which leads me into my next discussion, the Oscars review, which were 2 weeks ago now. And there's one thing that everybody's talking about that comes from this show, and that is Coda winning Best Picture. Congratulations. I mean, what a big story that is. I mean, a movie with deaf people, you don't see that every day.
I haven't seen it, but I was shocked to be seeing everyone. I did see tons of people talking about it winning, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck this movie is.
It's really good.
I've got to go watch it.
Do I think it's Best Picture? Probably not, but like,
is it a sympathy vote?
I think so, but it's good though. It's good. I gave it an 8 out of 10 when I watched it. Yeah. So like, it's good, but do I think it's the best film of the year? Do I think it's better than Dune, which is nominated? Absolutely not. So
what were the other nominees?
So you had Dune, you had The Power of the Dog, you had Belfast.
Let's see it.
Drive My Car.
I saw any of them.
Yes. Yeah. That was the foreign vote. Drive My Car. It's better than that.
Yeah.
But I can't remember all. Oh, Nightmare Alley. There was 10 nominations, but yeah. So it was up there. It took it. A lot of people were saying that it was between probably Coda, Belfast, or Power of the Dog to win.
Yeah.
I was hoping anything other than Power of the Dog I would have been fine with. So I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
I just think it is. It's a feel good vote. It's like the year Green Book one.
And it's the first streaming
Yeah, Apple TV.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
to win an Oscar
Yep. Yes.
for Best Picture.
That's a big step forward, because just a few years ago they were talking about how the Academy was discriminatory toward Netflix and all these other streaming devices, and now they're leading the nominations because you have this COVID thing going on, and all these movies can still be released at home, but the theaters, they lie empty.
Wow.
So
Coda.
yeah. Obviously I was joking. There was one big story that came out of this, and that was the Will Smith slapping.
Slap.
What?
So if you've been living under a rock for the last 2 weeks, Chris Rock presents the best documentary, which the Sound of Music, or not Sound of Music, but Music of Soul won, which I thought was the best documentary of the year for sure. So Chris Rock comes out there. He's a presenter. He goes to present it. Of course, he gives some jokes beforehand. One of them goes toward Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett, and says, G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. We love you. So for anybody who doesn't know, G.I. Jane is basically when Demi Moore shaved her head, went bald for the role, as she played an army
badass.
Yeah, an army badass. And so basically, because Jada Pinkett currently has no hair as a result of
alopecia, right?
Yeah, alopecia.
Yeah.
He made the joke, and Will thought it wasn't a good one, and he rushed the stage.
He laughed at first.
He did laugh initially.
He thought it was a good joke.
You can see it, yeah.
And then he looked over at Jada.
And Jada wasn't
she was
laughing,
staring deep into his soul, like, you better do something.
So I've had this argument with 100 people. Will Smith slaps Chris Rock. Okay, goes on stage, rushes it, smacks him, sits back down. Nothing happens to Will Smith. He doesn't get escorted out of the Oscars. We basically go on acting like this never happened in the first place.
Apparently he was asked to leave. I don't know how he got to not leave, but apparently they did ask him,
and he said no.
And refused to. Basically,
he said no. It's his big night. Everybody knew he was going to win best actor.
Yeah.
So to me, I think that plays into it. Certainly, I don't think they want to take away that Oscar moment. If he was a nobody sitting there who wasn't nominated, I think his ass is gone. So I wanted to get your guys' take on this. I have kind of had an unpopular opinion with this. I will explain that later on, but I wanted to see how you guys felt about this. Not necessarily whose side you're on, who's in the right, who's in the wrong.
Yeah.
Your guys' opinion.
Wow. So when I first saw it, it did, like, me and Chris, we were going back and forth a little bit about, like, was it staged? Was it not?
I thought it was.
And
I really did.
Like, when you see the slow-mo of Will walking back and he's smiling, and just the sound that the slap made, it was more of a thump.
It seems like he's stepping, like they do in wrestling, where you make a noise like that.
It wasn't a slap sound, so it's like it could have been staged. But when you saw Will Smith's, like, the way how angry and just like wanted to kill somebody when he's yelling back at Chris Rock, keep my wife's name out of your
motherfucking mouth.
Yeah, like that was anger. Legit anger. He was boiling at that point, and that's where I was like, maybe this was real.
Yeah.
Like, and who wants to, like, I know the viewing of the Oscars has been down and all that stuff, so trying to get something, but I think that's the wrong thing to talk about or to do. So that's why I thought it was real.
Where it hit me, where I was convinced, where I finally went over to your side, was seeing the freeze frame of it. My buddy has it on his cover photo, and you can see it's like after it. So like Will's hand is here and his face is here, and you can see him kind of
yeah.
But
I mean, you could still stage a slap.
You could, but I don't think Chris Rock is that good of an actor. I think Will Smith is.
And then Chris Rock, when he was getting ready to announce, he was like flustered.
Yeah.
Like he was jumbling up his words.
See,
so I'm like, okay, this was legit.
Because he said, we're here to give away a documentary. Like, okay, cool.
Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me.
I'll take Summer of Soul for $1,000, Alex.
But who's in the right? Who's in the wrong? I think that, it's okay for Will to be upset about that, but there's a time and a place, and physical altercation out of anger is not on national TV is not the place.
So, and I'm going to ask you both questions as you answer. So my question for you is, when would have been acceptable and what would have been acceptable when that happened for you?
Pulling him aside after the show.
Okay.
Physical contact, not acceptable. I don't think that should have happened at all.
Gets in his face. Is that okay?
Maybe if they cut away and he was like, dude, that was tasteless. Apologize to my wife before we continue, and then go from there. I know with the recent issues that has been plaguing Will in his personal life,
he's been exposed a lot.
That I think a lot of that just surfaced right then and there.
For anybody who doesn't know, Jada basically admitted that she had an affair with a young producer. This was about a year ago on the show that they have on, I think it's YouTube. And she brought to light that, you know, she had an affair. Will Smith kind of looked like he took it like a champ, but you could tell he was hurting deep down. And now everybody's kind of bringing it to light out in public, their commentary.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
And I think that's surfaced even more again since the slap. But yeah, I mean, I think outside of the national TV, it should have been handled rather than reacting like that.
Okay. Ryan, what about you?
Oh boy. A lot of what Dan said, I'm kind of all over the place with this one. There's a lot. One, the whole situation between the two of them is toxic. And this was obviously just one more boiling point in their relationship. You know, they've had an ongoing issue since her parading around her like extramarital relations on her show and passing it off as not a big deal. And obviously it was a big deal to Will, but this is his wife. This is his life. You know, he was there for her and he's tried to fight through it to keep their family together, you know, but he's had a lot of mental strain from this going on. He's had a lot of internal battles going on. I mean, you're like we talked about, you know, with Jim Carrey and Bruce Willis, your life is being watched. Everything you do is being watched. And now you have the fact that your wife's been having sex in your house with other men blasted all over the world for the world to see. And you have to try and be the bigger man and take it on the shoulder, you know, knowing inside it's killing you, but you're trying to be there. So, I mean, that in itself is it got to be just traumatized.
Heavy,
you know, it's very heavy to carry around.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's got this going on.
And
And then
he talked about that in his acceptance of the awards.
see, I haven't seen. I got to go back and
Which
watch
is,
it.
I was going to go on that after we're done talking about that.
I haven't watched any of it, so I don't know anything that happened other than I watched the Twitter clip of the slap. But as far as speech or apology, I honestly have no idea what he said yet. But so he's got all that going on. So in the moment, he's in the business. I mean, I'm sure him and Chris know each other.
Yeah,
You
well,
know-
they were on Fresh Prince together.
Yeah, you know, jokes, you know, are said. So he's sitting there. It happens, like you guys said. He initially laughs it off. You know, it's just a joke. It's not a big deal. But then he's got Jada there scolding him.
Yeah.
So now he feels, okay, I've got to defend my wife. I have to defend my family. And, you know, and it was a joke about a disease, which isn't really I mean, I know we joke about inappropriate things all the time. We talk about that. That's what comedy is. Comedy kind of is making light of serious situations just to try and get by in life. But he feels, you know, when she gives him that look, like I'm hurt, basically, she's showing him like, this isn't funny to me. And now on national television, this man's making fun of me and you're laughing it off. Okay. So then what do you do as the husband? You got to defend your wife's honor. In that aspect, I get it. If someone said anything like hurtful to any, like one of my friends or family, that's all that matters to me, honestly, like in life. Like if you say something hurtful to a friend or family member of mine, I'm probably going to knock you out. So I get the anger in him getting up there. Is it the right time? No, but when do you, I mean, after it cools off, you probably walk away and it's a big deal. And at that point, you let it go unbothered. And then it's just one more thing. They have their own issues they got to resolve. That's a big part of this. They got to resolve their marital issues, because that's weighing so heavily on his mental illness that this man got up and assaulted another person on live television. That's a problem. Is he in the wrong? I can't say yes or no, because a part of me agrees with what he did in defending her. I would have probably done the same thing.
It's a lot harder of a question.
But he's got to rectify his situations. The thing that pissed me off, and I don't know if it's going to be one of your questions, but the only thing that pissed me off about this whole situation, that man does a lot of good. A lot of good. He's been there for a lot of people. He does a lot of good in the movie industry. And so many people were quick to turn on him. Yeah. So many people in that industry were quick to badmouth him and put him down over something that they have no idea of the situation. And that shit pisses me off. How quickly we'll turn our back on someone over something. And this wasn't over anything that was not a big deal. I mean, this was this man's wife.
Yeah.
I think if anything, you're going to defend your wife and your children. I'm okay with it. I mean, to an extent, I'm okay with it. I think you did it and you just have to know that you're willing to accept the repercussions of it, which I think he's done, because he came out and said, the only part I do know, he said he was going to retire from the academy or whatever.
So one thing about that, he has given up his academyship, basically. So what that is he doesn't give up acting. But he's no longer allowed to vote in those circles anymore. He's no longer allowed to attend the Oscars anymore until they lift that ban.
So I mean, he's taking ownership for what he did, which I think is the manly thing to do. You know, you were in the wrong. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you can't just assault someone. You know, it was an emotional situation. I get where he came from. I probably would have done the same thing. And he was a man, and he stood up for it, and he said, you know what? I was in the wrong. I accept whatever comes of it. I apologize. And I commend him for it. So, I mean, is he in the right or wrong? I would have probably done it. So I guess I say he's in the right, because I would have probably done the same thing.
So that's what I've kind of asked everybody before I get into my side. That's kind of what I asked everybody along here is like, so your wife, your girlfriend, she gets made fun of for a condition that makes her feel very much less than a woman, unsexy, all those things. You see the pain in her eyes. You see the anguish in her eyes. And that's being said to you. Well, just for argument's sake, I'm saying it. Okay. And I'm laughing about it. We're friends and all that. And I think it's funny. So you should think it's funny.
I'm going to come up and slap you. I'll be real scared because you're waving at me. I'll be like, fuck.
If I talk about your wife, you have every fucking right to beat my ass. Put me in a wheelchair.
Yeah. So I'm not a physical, like, I don't.
Confrontation.
Yeah. I'm not that type of person. Therefore, I will see things from a softer side.
Okay. But you'll confront me.
But I would confront you. Yes. I won't attack you. Even though I'll hold every being of myself back to not attack you.
And that would change your opinion of me too, basically, because I said something so low and degrading like that to someone you love. It means a lot to you.
Yeah. And if I saw that her hurting, you know, for sure.
Yeah. She's not laughing. She's sitting there like Jada was, you know, she's looking around and it's in front of the whole world, man.
Right.
Is watching. They're there.
Yeah. So I'm not saying Will was wrong.
No, I know.
Yeah. I think he defended his family, and that's the right thing to do. I just don't think the physicality, like the slap,
not necessary.
Stage, confront. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's
I think the slap was also kind of like I mean, he could have knocked him out.
Well, that's why I said, like, he
slapped him. He was kind of like, hey, don't disrespect my family. Like, you know, shame on you type thing.
Yeah.
Rather than going up and just like knocking him
I mean,
out.
He was Ali. Like,
I mean, he very easily could have
right hook.
Could have put Rock on his ass.
Yeah.
Rock's not a big dude.
And let me get this out in the open. Nobody is wrong as far as what we're debating here. Dan is not wrong for having a different opinion. Ryan is not wrong for having a different opinion. We are talking from our own perspectives. This is basically a Rorschach test on our own ideals, how we feel about that situation, how we would approach that situation.
Yeah.
Nobody is wrong here.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I absolutely agree. It's all personal. I mean, some people are very non-confrontational and would have waited till afterward and said, hey, that wasn't okay. And that's fine. But if you would have done it the other, then I guess that's fine too. Again, as long as you're willing to accept the repercussions of what you did, then okay. You know,
where I'm coming from, I don't have much to say here. You said a lot of what I was going to say, but where I'm coming from is that I was shocked because I woke up the next morning and could not believe that so many people had outed Will Smith. I mean, men, women, white, black, all of them were like probably everything I've seen was probably about 97% against him to say that he was in the wrong and all that. What I find so shocking about this is that we used to live in a place where like defending your wife was an extension of your manhood.
Yep.
That like, you know, you were there, like she is your queen. So like, as long as she is under your arm, nobody is going to fuck with her. And that's the way everything used to go. Now, comedy obviously is a different horse when they say like, you have free reign, you can say whatever you want. I agree with that to a certain extent, but you also have to know the room you're playing. We're doing this as a scenario, a fictional scenario again. Okay. One of your wives or your girlfriend has cancer, and I make fun of that. I have no look. I'm smart enough to not touch that subject. I think comedians are too. You can be as big and bad as you want. You could fucking make fun of Jada's movie career and all that. Trust me, it ain't anything to brag about. You could go those roads. I think making fun of her personal appearance that's a whole different animal, man. You know, because if they were one-on-one, if they were in private with each other and it was only 3 people who heard this joke, I think they could laugh it off and they go, oh yeah, or fuck you, man, or something like that. You know, nothing big. But when you got the whole world, you got the eyes of the world watching this, 40 million plus people on TV laughing at this woman, laughing at Will and everything that you mentioned that he had already been through with their marital affairs. That's a lot, man. It's very heavy. And to me, I don't fully support. I'm one of those guys that I don't support violence until it absolutely has to get that way. And for me, I personally saw nothing wrong with what Will Smith did. He slapped him. He didn't hit him. If he hit him, he has a possibility of killing him. Now I know there's freak scenarios. Everybody has out there has said, well, he could have slapped him and he could have slipped on the stage and he could have broke his neck or something like that. Come on. If he wanted to really do some damage, he would have fucking hit him. Yeah, I would have hit him. I'm telling you right now, if that's my wife, I don't care who it is. I'm fucking blasting you. Like, that is the person that's most important to me. You talk about me, you don't talk about my loved ones. Yeah, that's the way it goes. Maybe I'm just not a jokester, but I don't find that funny. Yeah.
There's certain things there's certain things you just don't joke about. Yeah. You know, and I think that hits everybody differently. And if Chris Rock was on stage on his own like comedy show, it said something offensive about someone in the audience that like hit them, and they got up. I mean, it happens. Yeah, you know, not everyone's gonna take your joke and blow it off. Some things are really offensive to people. Yeah, and I think that's just kind of one of the risks of the job. You know, when you take on comedy, like, it's a hazard.
That's why it's so taboo, though, because it's what you're dropping on them is heavy bombs, man. And it's like they're either going to take it, they're going to sit there and laugh with it, or they're going to go, man, fuck you, and take big offense to it. Yeah. Now, the thing that I would say is if you go to one of his personal comedy shows, and this has been the big worry since this event, if you go to a comedy show and you get called out, that's a lot different. I mean, you're
volunteering.
This is an award show. I mean, you are there. You bought a ticket to be there and do that. These people are there to accept an award.
That's fair.
They don't want to fucking be trashed. And I know that's become the popular thing with the Oscars lately is that, oh, we'll get a comedian to go on stage and roast everybody for an hour. Dude,
they don't show up to be roasted.
That's the difference. If you go to a stand-up comedy show and you hit Chris Rock, you are in the wrong. You were there to fucking listen to jokes.
That's fair.
Like that's the way it is. But like where I look at Will, everything that Ryan said, everything that Dan said, as far as where he's come from, where his state of mind is during that evening, the thing you have to remember about Will Smith more than anything else, he's not an actor first. First, he's a husband. Yep. He's a family man. That is number one to him. So when that goes, number two doesn't matter. Yep. Number one is number one for a reason. He's going to defend that until the end of the world. And that's where the speech comes in. So he wins Best Actor later on that night. And the parallels to Richard Williams, who he played in King Richard, were astonishing. Because he talks about, Richard Williams was a man who defended his family. Richard Williams was a man who came across as that crazy father. So this is kind of where I also had that argument against you as far as it just seems so perfect. Right. Like it seems like that moment where like he became the character and you go, oh, bravo. Yeah. Like he's once more, he's King Richard. Bravo. So I fully agree. I was wrong. Like now that I see it, I'm like, he hit him. Absolutely. Yeah. He slapped him. It was real. But like the parallels are there and the speech was just so perfect and he's crying his eyes out. He talked about Denzel came up to him, Bradley Cooper came up to him, and Tyler Perry came up to him and kind of calmed him down. And like Ryan said, he was asked to leave by the producers of the show. For the first time ever, was an all-black production team too. So it's kind of not a good look for them either. They understand the social perception when it comes to black award shows and stuff like that. And here we go. We have our first physical confrontation on a mostly dominant white show.
And everyone was concerned about Kanye.
That's true, and Kanye gets banned from the Grammys, amazingly enough. It's a strange predicament, man. For me, I'm fine with the repercussions of it. Like I'm fine with Will Smith having to be banned from the Academy because it's their rules, it's their show. At the end of the night, it is what it is. You did something that broke their rules, you suffer the consequences. And I think he's the first one. I mean, he's the one that brought that up in the first place, so he's fine with that too. As far as the slap goes, I support Will, man. I really do. I hate to say it. Yeah. There's just some things you don't talk about. Yeah. People who have known me for 10 years know the one area you don't go with me is my mom. And like everything else is fair game with me. most of the things you say about me, I will agree with you with. When it comes to her, man, it's off limits.
That was the thing too. Do you think Chris Rock knew that she had the condition? Because what I heard is he saw her on the red carpet and saw her haircut. And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna use that," but not knowing that it was a medical condition that Jada was very.
I don't know. Do they pre-write this stuff?
So this was off the cuff. This wasn't planned.
What I'm hearing is the producers had no idea that he was going to tell this joke, which to me, that's an even bigger problem right there. We got to know everything you're going to say before you go out there. This is an award show that's on, live TV in front of the whole world. We need to know if you itch your balls, we need to know that you're going to do that at some point.
No, I didn't watch the show. So after this happened, did they take a break?
After
the slap happened, did they break?
No,
they just kept going.
So Rock gives out the award to Summer of Soul. The guys. So this is what's wrong. The Summer of Soul guys are totally going to be forgotten. They're a trivia question from here on out. They get on stage.
Who got the award when Chris Rock got slapped?
They get their award. They go on stage. They say their speech, and you can see Chris as he's leaving. He's still shook. He's talks to Questlove, who is the director of Summer of Soul. And he's just kind of shaking his head, and he's just just astonished. He seems more surprised than anything else. So yeah, it's it's the craziest event in Oscars history by far. This makes the Moonlight La La Land fiasco peanuts. This is physicality. It's a lot more serious, and we probably lost one of our biggest actors of our time for awards, probably for the near future, if not ever.
Yeah. And you were saying that was horrible editing.
Yeah.
Whoever edited that should be fired, because on the overseas Japanese version or Chinese version, they didn't cut. You heard everything, but for on the US national TV side of it, they muted the mics, muted everything that was going on. You saw Will mouthing his words in the slap. He was very just chopped up.
It was strange because so I expect the lowering of the microphones. I expect that because it's America. What was weird to me was the video of it. So it goes, he slaps him, then he sits back down, and you can see Chris Rock say something, and it jumps, it jolts to where he's midway through, motherfucking mouth, and yelling and all that. And I'm like, oh shit, what did I miss here?
Yeah.
It seems like they've been off the air for 10 seconds.
I get it was live, but I would have imagined after that you cut, you take a pause, you put up a technical difficulty type thing or something, and just to because to Dan's point, Chris Rock handled that pretty damn well.
Oh,
to
pro.
carry on and for the most part, he made a joke of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he does. He laughed it off and continued on, but you would have thought they paused, kind of had a discussion with Will Smith, pull him off to the side,
they
handle their business.
That's why I thought it was fake.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, how can they let this go on? And nobody rushed Will Smith
That's
no
what
security
I'm saying.
did. That's where it felt fake to me. I'm like, dude, if I get up to go use the bathroom,
real? Did they know? Did they think maybe it was?
Maybe that's part of it
because
too.
Chris Rock's that part was spontaneous. Maybe him and Will set this up.
And Will their table was front and center.
Right.
It was maybe 20, 30 feet.
Yeah.
20-foot walk.
Fair enough.
From his
probably 20. Yeah.
From his table to
the stage.
Yeah, slapping Chris Rock.
The whole situation's just weird.
I think everybody's just what's going to happen.
Just how do you handle it? But
I think they went to commercial right after the acceptance speech
after the speech they go, and they break, and that's when you see Denzel. If you saw that footage from a fan in the audience,
balcony.
Denzel comes and he's kind of holding him, and you can see Tyler Perry's there, and then Bradley Cooper comes up and gives him a hug, and
crazy.
Outside of that, though, after all that, he's got to get he's got to figure his shit out with her, because outside of him defending her rightfully so, that woman's toxic to that relationship and his mental health, and they've got to rectify that. And I think him stepping away from all this for a little while is probably in his best. I think I read something where he's looking into a rehab situation or something for himself. So he's got to take some steps to get himself in a better place, and take his mental health seriously and figure out what they need to do through counseling or whatever because that's not a man that's all right.
No.
You know, and that's the thing that got overlooked. Everyone just attacked him and turned their back on him for his actions. But take a look about what led up to that and, you know, what he has going on.
Mm-hmm.
And now how this all just adds to that turmoil that he already has, that he's already battling. And now we throw all of this on top of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
give the man a break.
I think you made a great point about the whole, you know, so many people the next morning, they got up and they couldn't wait to disband from this guy.
Yeah.
They couldn't wait to kick him out. And these are the same people who say living in the cancel society is, you know, I'm against that. And I don't agree with all that. And here you are doing the same thing.
Yep.
Like it's appalling, man. To me, you can, that's why I didn't pose the question as whose side are you on? Because there is no side in this. That's stupid to even say whose side are you on. It's do you condone the actions of Will Smith and do you think Chris Rock handled it well?
Yeah.
My opinion is yes to both. I think Chris Rock did an outstanding job. They should fucking be thanking him and saying like, man,
Absolutely.
amazing. And the fact that he didn't raise a lawsuit over this, he said no legal actions were going to be pursued. Man, you handled that like a fucking champion, and nobody is going to think any less of you whatsoever.
Right? I think he realized that it was tasteless.
Yeah.
And
just that's why he said, yeah, and there's no reason for this. And it was, I think at the end of the day too, he goes, it was a slap, whether it hurt or not in the moment. It only lasted probably for 10 seconds, that feeling. And then it was just all adrenaline from there on out. If Will Smith hits him, that's probably a different ball game. You know, I would like to think so anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was crazy, man. Other than that, there's not a lot worth talking about the Oscars. It was a good night. I'll say that. Like a lot of my picks won. I think I went 19 out of 24. So I did pretty solid. I always do around that 18, 19 average. Best Picture kind of just surprised me a little bit. I knew Will Smith was winning for sure. Yeah, it's pretty typical.
Yeah.
That was funny. Amy Schumer coming out and she's like, I was busy getting out of that Spider-Man outfit. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, and everybody just busts out. And you can see Will too, and he's laughing at that point too. Like he knows, and that was the thing leading to his speech. He knew he embarrassed himself, and he wanted to get up there and he wanted to apologize, which was the first thing he did. And of course, media outlets make it that, well, he didn't apologize to Chris Rock. Like, you guys always want a confrontation for everything, man. That is your fucking job when it comes to everything.
Right. But to Dan's point, he didn't have to apologize. He's not sorry for what he did to Chris Rock because he probably feels that he was in the right. And he's apologizing to the Academy for, you know, disrespecting them
and the Williams family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good for him.
Yeah. Well said, Dan. Do we have anything else? Do you want to say anything else about the Oscars or?
That was the only thing I knew about
it.
Sadly, I'm sorry.
Yeah, watch the speech though. I can even send it to you. It's worth it. Like it's a good 2.5 minute speach, and he's crying, and like it's really.
I'd like to watch it anyway, just because I mean that movie was fantastic.
Yeah,
so I'd like to see his acceptance speech for that, anyways.
Yeah.
I definitely need to check it out.
Yep. Beyond this, we got two more things. So one thing this week that it impressed me, actually, you see all these articles when it comes out about a director or a writer or a star talking about their upcoming film that comes out, and they'll always use hyperbole like, oh, it's the scariest Scream that we've ever had, or oh, it's the greatest Die Hard movie we've ever done, or anything like that. Of course you have to say that. Like that's your job to say that. Michael Bay took the opposite road this week. Ambulance hits theaters on Friday. I have already seen it. It is a pretty solid movie. I will say that. It impressed me more than I was expecting. It stars Jake Gyllenhaal as a man who robs a bank with his brother, and they take over an ambulance and are being chased by the LAPD and the FBI throughout the streets of Los Angeles. So basically on this film, Michael Bay was asked this week, he goes, what's the most impressive thing about the movie to you? And he goes, well, I can tell you what my least impressive thing is. And they go, really, what's that? And he goes, the CGI is awful. I'm like, wow, like that's refreshing to me. Like here's a director, his own movie, and he pans it.
Wow.
You know, and this was Entertainment Weekly, like their entertainment, the magazine, Entertainment Weekly. So, I mean, a lot of people are reading this and they're already going in with negative connotation to this. It's kind of refreshing to me. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think he probably now, after completing the movie, which is he went with a different CGI developer.
I didn't notice it. I didn't notice anything about the CGI, but
it's Michael Bay. Like that's his movies are like Transformers and all that stuff.
Action juggernauts.
All about the CGI.
Yeah.
So if this movie didn't impress him as a director, compared to some of his others, like the CGI in Transformers is really good, but I think it's funny.
It's shocking.
It's great.
Yeah, it's just shocking me. What about you, Ryan? What do you think? Like, is this good move by a director to kind of pan his own movie?
It's kind of one of those things like you laugh at your own joke type thing. So I don't know if it's ideal, but for Michael Bay, I'm not honestly surprised. I mean, he's kind of a character in himself. So we'll see what comes of it. Anything you're looking forward to
For
the movie?
Oh no, I already saw it.
Well, which one was it?
Ambulance.
Oh yeah. You gave it a good rating.
Yeah, I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, my bad.
Ryan has
I missed
selective
it.
hearing too.
I missed that part. I know. I actually did check the review because I saw it was Jake Gyllenhaal, and I was like, "Is this a continuation of the 911 whatever that he just did?"
Oh yeah, what was that?
Chris just broke down the whole movie in
my
like
bad.
2 minutes.
I got sidetracked.
Fuck me, right?
I read the review though. I knew you gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I was really surprised because I watched the trailers and I was like, it looks like a 5 out of 10 kind of fodder. Like it doesn't look like it's going to be anything memorable past 5 minutes after the movie.
Yeah.
But I watched it and I was like, there's some good, compelling drama here. The only problem I would say is Michael Bay still does not know how to write dialogue for anybody, especially ethnic groups. Still has no idea how to write this dialogue, man. And it just shows. That's the heaviest weakness to me, even more so than the CGI that he mentioned.
I don't know if this was on I don't think it's on your list, but you posted a movie or that you just reviewed.
Everything.
You gave a 10 out of 10.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Bro,
Yeah.
I need to see this, but it's only theater right now.
It's going to hit Tinseltown this Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to, because you don't give a 10 often. So I saw that and I was like, I got to see this movie.
Here's
like
bad
10
news.
out of 10. I got to see this movie.
I don't
Is
think
there
you're gonna
another-
like it.
No?
I know
I
your
was,
movie.
I was gonna say, is there another like high scoring movie that you praise that Ryan just hates?
Fences. Yeah, that would be the
Fences?
big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what did
Is
you give
this like-
that?
is
8.
this-
You give it an 8.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a 10 out of 10. And you don't give those all. I'll have to look at your 10 out of 10s and see like if there's
22
that I
in
don't
my
like.
history.
Yeah.
22, and I've got the whole list posted right
It's
now
just,
on my
if
Facebook.
there's a movie I'm going to see that you've reviewed that I wasn't going to see, it's going to be a 10 out of 10 movie just for the sake of you don't give 10 out of 10s.
And there's a reason why.
So I need to see it just
Yeah.
for the sake of knowing what meets your caliber, that it's a 10 out of 10. I'm just curious now, even if I don't even know what the fuck it is. Honestly, I just saw the review and I was
Watch
like,
the trailer. See what you think.
I got to see this.
Your first words coming out of it, I guarantee you what he's going to say on our group message.
Oh boy.
That was fucking weird.
Yeah. Well, I read the synopsis because I read your review.
Mhm.
So I read the synopsis of what it is, and the movie poster in itself is very odd.
Same guys that
Busy.
did Swiss Army Man too. So
Which I haven't seen yet.
oh my God.
Yeah, I know you and Jesse love that one. I got to watch it.
And this one's better than that.
Yeah, I got to see this one though.
Mhm.
Once I saw it was a 10 out of 10, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have to go to the theater.
Yeah, the Batman was number 1 until that one. And I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
And I was torn right there. I'm like, I was right there at that 9 out of 10. I felt confident with a 9 out of 10. I was like, I could give this a 9 out of 10. But I'm like, man, I really want to give this one the 10 because I feel like it earned it. I really do. It's a 2-hour and 19-minute movie that earned every minute of its runtime.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's so hard to do. The Batman, I thought the weakness was the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to be polarized for that opinion not by you guys, but by others who will go see it because a lot of people won't understand that movie. But like the themes of it, you'll really come out of it with a sense of that was the perfect movie for the perfect time.
The nice thing about being a movie reviewer is it's just your opinion.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is. It's just
It's just
one
your
guy.
opinion.
Yeah.
You're just someone that's very talented at
Putting words
seeing
together.
and putting putting
Thanks,
reviews
guys.
together. But it's just your opinion. These other people just don't have that ability. So we don't hear about it.
Mhm.
And so they're not having people disagree with them. All it
Yeah.
is your opinion and knowledge of movies. Doesn't mean that everyone has
thing
to
that
agree
is-
with it.
So impressive is I'll read a review and then I'll watch the movie. I'm like, how the hell does he find this stuff to talk about?
Yep, that's always my
Like,
thing too.
How
Yeah.
do you put these words together, Chris?
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah. I watched the movie and I'm like, oh wow, that was real cool. And then Chris is like, a
And then
million
you're-
words later. I'm like, wait, when did that happen?
And it's
And then you're like, he's right.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think of it that way.
And it's better when you have a movie like this. Like, so I've always been told by readers that like your 9 out of 10s or your 10 out of 10s, those are your best reviews because it seems like you're the most passionate about those ones.
Yeah.
And I go, I really am. Like, it's fun to write a 1 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10 though. Like I'll say like, it's fun to, well, it's not fun to watch them, but it's fun to pan them.
Yeah.
So like I take the same approach when I see a great movie because I'm like, this is a movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, where I'm like, a lot of people haven't heard of it probably. I want to be that guy that like turns them on to it. And maybe this is the film that changes their year. Like maybe the Batman was number one for them too, until they saw this movie and they go, yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
So my goal is to write a kind of passionate diatribe where I say so much, but I really don't say anything at all. Read that review. Like I read it 3 times just to make sure I didn't spoil anything. I say so much and I say so little at the same time.
Yep.
It's everything everywhere all at once.
Yep.
That's like that.
That's
Go
the
ahead.
great thing about your reviews, though, is you can read them and not have the movie ruined for you.
That's
You
the goal.
know? So
My English teacher, who I looked up to, he said the best thing that you can do as a writer is to tell them so much without telling them anything.
Yep.
So I've always kind of lived by that credo. So that's the Michael Bates.
Did you guys see the 2 episodes of Halo yet?
No,
not.
I've heard mixed reviews. Some people are saying it's really good, and some people are saying it's terrible.
I'm impressed.
Really?
Yeah.
I
gotta watch
like just.
The second one better than the first one.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first one was okay. There's just some points.
Some, like, little
There's
glitches
just
in
some points where it's like the Master Chief and Martins were a little jumpy in their moves.
it. Yeah.
But they're heavy
Yeah.
mech suits essentially.
Yeah.
But just the visuals of everything that they've done, like with this, for being a Paramount Plus freaking video game,
That's remarkable. Yeah.
it's
maybe I'll watch
crazy.
Yeah.
It is good.
I mean, movies don't even know how to do, good adaptation sometimes. And then you have this streaming channel that comes along and just blows it out.
Yeah, I'm sold on it already.
Yeah.
Like 2 episodes in, I want to watch. I think there's 9 episodes total for this.
Nice.
That's a good run, though.
I gotta
Yeah.
watch it. I've been wanting a movie for a long time, and if this is the closest thing we're gonna get to it, I've heard for the most part good
it's
reviews.
good.
So you and then my brother Dan both
Like
have said make sure you watch it. So I downloaded the Paramount to watch that,
And you watch,
and then I watched
Scream.
Scream instead, and then I tried to watch Jackass, and I couldn't
Okay.
do it. I just realized that I'm not into Jackass.
it's you're either for it or you're not.
I always felt like I thought
It's
I was
hilarious.
into
I
it
loved it.
growing up because I
Yeah.
would watch the show on occasion.
Mhm.
But then, like you and Jesse had always been talking about the movies, and I realized I've never seen any of them.
Wow.
I'm not really into it.
I think 4 is did you start at 4? Was 4 the one you watched?
The movie?
The newest
the
one?
most recent one, yeah.
I think 4 is a bad one to start off personally. I would go right from the beginning and watch them because I think the better ones are honestly 2 and 3.
I just think I'm not really like it's funny, yeah, but it's not enough for me to sit there and want to watch it for an hour and a half or 2 hours. Like I'm not into it that much. I got just past the sandal dick slapping,
Oh God, yeah.
and I was like, it's funny, but I'm not interested enough to like keep this on.
Did you see the bee thing by any chance? The buzzing bees?
I don't
Yeah,
think
I
I
did.
got to that.
Dude,
Dan watched it all.
Yeah, I watched it all, dude. No way.
I would have no, I'm not doing this
No.
shit.
No, and the one that I thought was hilarious was the dark room with the snake.
Oh yeah. Dude, and they had 6 guys in there and they're just all fucking freaking out and
They got that little the zapper claw thing.
the door handle too, man. It's like goes off whenever they go to reach for it. Get me the fuck out.
And
of
then
this
they get
room.
out, and then they walk into a room full of cast iron skillets hanging from the ceiling.
He runs
smacking
right into it. The fact I ran right.
I thought it was good. I had some good laughs. I
I-
was laughing out loud.
I grew up with Jackass, man. When I was a teenager, it was on every Sunday night, and we would always put ourselves right in front. Me and my friends would put ourselves right in front of the TV and watch it. I'm guilty as charged.
And
Yeah,
went-
I
went back and
liked
watched
it as a show growing up. Like I didn't hate it. I just realized now I'm just not into it enough to hold my attention to watch a
Mhm.
movie. It's not for me.
I did have a question for you on Halo.
Yeah.
Being somebody who's inexperienced with the property itself and has never played any of the games, does that matter as far as watching the show?
No.
Or do they do a good job?
They did a good job starting
Okay.
off because it's a division. The Spartans are a division of the
Like special
USM or I can't remember.
USMC, I think.
Is that
It's
what
the
it
United
is?
States like Marine? Yeah, I think they're.
It is
Marine.
USMC?
They're, yeah.
So it's legit.
yeah.
Oh wow.
But it's obviously played out in the future and in space and all that stuff. But I don't think you need to play the games to understand. I think playing the games helps a little bit, but you can jump to conclusions as to what's coming up next if you've played the games. So you go into it not playing the games, you'll be able to follow a story and see a story develop rather than already know what the end game is going into it.
So from a surprising aspect, I think I'm probably at the advantage then.
I think so.
Yeah. So because like you probably get ready for something. Me, I don't even see it coming.
Right.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I think probably when Moon Knight's over, because that's when all of my shows are now done. Like I'll dive into that next. Because I've been curious to watch a Paramount show because I've heard so much about, I think it's 1703 or 1783, whatever, that they do like a bunch
1883,
of 1883
the Yellowstone.
Yeah. And I've heard Yellowstone. Everybody is preaching about
Yeah,
Yellowstone.
I haven't watched that yet.
I love Costner, but man, I have not watched
You know,
that.
in the like 9 some hours that it's going to take you to watch Halo, you could start Harry Potter.
Shut up, Ryan.
I'm just saying.
I could.
Most anticipated review ever.
I could.
Most anticipated review of all time.
You know what, Chris? You should just review it without watching it.
These guys.
Maybe I could say so much without saying
No
anything.
respect.
Yeah, but that's it though. It's some good recommendations there. We're gonna do the top 5 and then we're done. So obviously we have not been on for what, 2 or 3 weeks now?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
We just missed just last week.
Okay. So 2 weeks. There's some changes on here, but I see a lot of the same. One big movie has obviously taken over for sure. But man, I'm still surprised at number 5, and that's this Jujutsu Kaisen, this anime movie that we talked about 2 weeks ago that is sweeping the nation right now with $30 million in its purse, which is crazy for an anime movie. It brings in another $2 million even this week, still playing in 2,000 theaters, taking the 5 spot. It's probably going to be gone after this week, but man, for 3 weeks to ride that high into the top 5 and compete against the big boys.
Did you review this?
Is
Do you see anime movies?
I didn't know. I did not, and I do not.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
No, anime has always been something where like there's spare examples like Titan AE I used to love growing up. There's some examples here. Little Nemo, the Dream Master I watched when I was a kid, but I'm not a big anime guy. I won't lie about that. Yeah, my Neighbor Totoro, I think, was the only one I ever reviewed in my 1,800 plus reviews.
I don't get into them.
Yeah, I've never been into anime. I don't think I've ever watched an anime show or movie, actually.
But you know passionate fans, don't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
It's probably for the better that you don't review them.
God, that preach at this shit, man. I'm like, oh my God, Harry Potter fans are saying you're obsessive.
This guy.
Number 4 this week. This would be its 7th week on the countdown, man. $138 million to its intake. Uncharted is still in the top 5, man. The video game fans are coming out in legions for this film, and a movie that I think is just okay, like mediocre at best.
Is it video game fans or is it
The
Marvel
Tom Holland fans?
Marvel fans that want to see Tom
Spider-Man
Holland?
fans.
Do you
Is it
think so?
different?
Yeah.
I think so. I think
much
that's what
like
it is.
I think much like Spider-Man
I don't
and
think there's.
Zendaya and like just it being so much in the spotlight. I think Tom Holland being such a star in that, it's just another thing. People love Tom Holland.
You think that influence is that strong? That like 138 million over?
I think that's drawing the attention to it. Absolutely. I don't think enough people know about this movie otherwise to see it.
I agree. I don't think there's even gamers. I don't think
Yeah.
a ton of them are Uncharted fans in general.
I thought it was a popular franchise, though.
It is, but not to the extent it's doing.
Okay.
I think the casting, Tom Holland and Marky Mark, is definitely a huge portion of people
names.
seeing it just for them.
Yeah.
I don't think there's that big of a group of people that know
I
what
mean,
Uncharted is,
I didn't-
especially in theater. People don't go to the movies to go to the theater to see movies right now.
Yeah.
I didn't know about Uncharted until I bought my PlayStation 4
Really?
on Black Friday, and you got that game for free.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
It was the Super Mario Brothers, man. Jesus.
I think this is a lot of it just coming off the Spider-Man hype.
Mm-hmm.
People that saw that.
Have you seen it yet?
No. It's got to come to streaming.
Right?
Huh?
You didn't see it.
What?
Uncharted?
No, I didn't see Uncharted. I was talking about Spider-Man.
Oh.
No,
He
I
still
know.
hasn't seen
It's got to come to streaming. But I think that got so much views and hype that after that, people were just like, oh, another Tom Holland movie.
Man.
Cool. There's no other explanation for it.
I
It's
mean-
not that popular.
I guess the thing we're going to find out then is the next movie with him
How well
that
does it
is
do?
non-Spider-Man. We're going to see how well it does. And that's going to, if they're following him through all these movies, that kid is a gold mine, man. Everywhere he fucking goes.
People like him, man. Women love him. I mean, and then he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then him and Zendaya are a thing. Like it's just hot right now. Like it's just he's a trending actor.
I would like give my paycheck to smell his hand.
Just as right.
After he wipes his ass.
That's what I was talking about, right? Okay, on to number 3. This one is kind of a surprise that it was overtaken by the movie that was number 2. Number 3 this week is The Batman. $11 million in its take, $349 million in 5 weeks. That is fucking impressive. Minus Spider-Man. Like, this is the biggest movie we've had since the pandemic began.
Jeez.
So yeah, I'm okay with it being number 3. I am kind of surprised.
500 million yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it won't reach that domestically. It's slowing down too much now.
It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to hit. It might hit 400 possibly, but that'll be about it.
Wow.
It's. I think 3 Hour has a lot to do with it. I know you used the Spider-Man card on our last episode with that, but I think with Spider-Man, I just think there's so many kids. There's so many everyone can see Spider-Man. Not everybody can see the Batman. Like, the Batman is very much an adult film.
Just like Batman's that iconic name though. Like,
it
like
is.
Everyone wants to see the Batman.
It is, but kids can't
just
see that movie.
It's just crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Dan. Like, that seems low. I thought it was gonna. I mean, it's still good.
Yeah,
but I thought it was gonna far exceed that. Like, I expected that just to be like a fucking blowout.
Yeah, I think too with Spider-Man, like the multiverse, like the word of mouth of that, everybody wanting to see the old Peter Parkers and all this other shit. You know, like that was the thing that sold it.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you think Pattinson hurt that franchise at all? Do you think them casting him as Batman do you think people have been more accepting of him, or do you think that there's people that really don't love that he was cast as Batman?
I truly think people have preconceived notions of him.
I agree with that.
Yes, I truly, I mean, anybody that calls him, the Twilight guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, you clearly have not watched a movie since that
Yeah.
one. And I haven't even fucking seen Twilight, so I don't know what you're doing watching it.
Yeah.
And I've even seen stories still referring to him as the Twilight.
Yeah. I kind of wondered if that
Character,
played at all a part in people not willing to see it, just based on, like, I'm not seeing fucking Edward Cullen as Batman. Like, I'm not going to even waste my time, but it's still doing great.
Yeah.
I was curious your guys' thoughts, because I know, like, people weren't. I was pumped. I think most of us were like, yeah, we're all for it, just because he could do so much more than that.
Yep.
But there's people out there that are just stuck on, he was Edward Cullen, and that's it.
Because they've never seen any of his other movies since. Watch Good Time and tell me that dude cannot act. I mean, please. Here's a moment of humility and a moment of pride for you. In 2008, I said Heath Ledger would be a terrible Joker.
Yeah.
Man, did I whiff on that one.
Yeah.
And then a year before this movie came out, The Batman, I said Robert Pattinson would be one of the greatest Batmans ever, and people are going to be praising him by the end of this movie. I was 1 for 2.
Yeah.
But I think people, once they give the Batman a chance, I think that prediction will be even stronger.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that dude doesn't act his ass off at the end of that fucking movie.
Yeah.
Well, and you got people like we talked about it before, how like he's so emo style, like that I think that turns people off too.
He said his motivation was Kurt Cobain for the role. He said he was trying to.
I could see that.
Yeah, he said he was trying to emulate Kurt Cobain.
Even like the greasy hair and everything.
Yep.
But
I agree with that too, though, because I mean,
Batman.
it was a harder. It's not the norm. It's not what we expect out of a Batman movie. And that's I struggled with a little bit. I mean, I talked about when we first talked about it on here. You know, I have to see it again to really give it a fair score, because it was a lot for me to take in.
3 hours. I mean, that is a long sit.
To Dan's point, I mean, it's a different style Batman as far as who was cast, and then it is a different storyline for Batman, with it being the younger, dark
year 2
version of him. And
exactly.
I don't know if people adapted to that as easily as you're expecting. But I loved where they went with it, and because it gives so much opportunity for growth with wherever they're going to go with it. It's so early on that there's so much forward that you can take from it. Give it a chance. If you have not seen it, give the dude a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, give the movie a chance and give him a chance, because he's a phenomenal actor. He really is.
Here's the thing. Even if you don't care about Robert Pattinson, or you have a preconceived notion about him, there's other stars in the movie. Go for them.
Yeah.
Go to see Colin Farrell completely lose his identity as the Penguin. I mean, unfucking real. Go for Paul Dano.
Paul Dano was great.
Go for Zoe Kravitz.
Creepy ass Riddler.
Yeah.
Like like a serial killer, just like he reminded me of someone else, and I can't think of who the fuck. I'll think of it at some point during the show. Yeah. But I was watching it, and just the way it was stylized, and I'm like, man, they did a real dark. Did you say they based it off of somebody when we were talking about it originally?
What, his role?
Like his characterization. I thought that
he seems like a Zodiac, really.
Zodiac.
He does. So like if you watch even as I said, this movie, before I saw the trailers and all that, I said it looks like a David Fincher film. And like now you look at the Zodiac comparisons and that looks realistic because he directed Zodiac. So like, yeah, he looks like he could have been ripped straight from that cloth and put into a Batman movie. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I think that's a great depiction of the Riddler, and it's a realistic one. He's not a guy with a Matthew Lesko suit going around going, right. You know, so I'm cool with it. Yeah, it's like you said, this is a different Batman altogether.
Yeah.
What's great about that is we've had obviously 70 years of Batman, dating back to the Adam West show, but like we've had since the Michael Keaton one, 32 years of Batman films. And this feels fresh and innovative, unlike anything else. Yeah. These feel like 3 different, completely fleshed out universes, from the Burton one to the Christopher Nolan one to this one. It feels completely different.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So that's
a long rant for our number 3, but it just deserves credit. It just deserves to be seen. So
it got another 11 million. So it's still, I think next week it'll probably be around the 8 or 9 range, and then I think probably a couple weeks it'll fall off the top 5, but it'll hit 400 by that time. Number 2 this week. This is the one I was kind of surprised it overtook it, and that's The Lost City, coming in at number 2, 14,700,000 to its intake. Its second week on the countdown, $54 million to its purse so far in 2 weeks.
That's not very high.
54
for 2 weeks
for that movie. I think it is. Yeah, for that movie, it's exceptional. Sandra Bullock can still draw. I wonder though if the Channing Tatum fans came out more for this. Like this is a ladies' night out. You know, I quoted it as the perfect date movie. I think it's got something for the guys and the girls.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, if you go on a date, it's a foolproof thing. I think both will enjoy it. I think there's plenty there for either side. So yeah, I recommend it. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Had enough laughs to it. It feels a lot like Romancing the Stone. If you saw that from the 80s, it feels like a direct takeoff from that movie. But good enough. Yeah, to recommend. Certainly better than our number 1 movie. And that would be Morbius at $39 million. First week, it made $39 million, which, I mean, it did exceed. The director was quoted as saying he wants $25 million for the first week. 39 did it. So obviously we will probably get another Morbius movie, just like we got another Venom movie. This universe continues to exist even when the MCU does so good. And you know, Sony continues making these mediocre films at best. In this case, this really shitty fucking film.
You give it a 3?
Yeah. Yeah. Matt Smith is the only reason to see this movie. If you like Doctor Who or you like Matt Smith, go see the movie. Otherwise, just forget it.
Do you need like night vision goggles to watch it?
Yes. And
because you said it was like very dark and it's hard to decipher certain
yes.
things going on because it's so like epileptic.
Yeah. So as to where that feeds into the Batman, like the Batman's presentation is very dark and gloomy. Nothing in Batman loses its depiction. Here, it just feels like you are trying to strain for the hell of straining. Like when Daredevil from 2005 and when The Punisher from 2004 made their films intentionally dark because they wanted to be that brooding superhero story and all that. That's what films were in the 2000s. That's where Marvel got it wrong. And it wasn't until Iron Man of 2008 when they finally corrected themselves.
Where do you see this leading Leto at this point? So he comes off of Joker, everyone hating him in Joker. And then I asked you if the movie was bad or Leto was bad, and you said both. I mean, where do you place him as an actor? I mean, do you think he's a mediocre actor overall? Do you think he's taking bad roles? I mean, because I always thought of him as being a pretty good actor.
I think the roles define him. I think he's a good actor. I mean, he's an Oscar winner. He should be a good actor.
Yeah.
I think the roles define him. I think if he's in something like a House of Gucci and they direct him a certain way and say, yes, a speaker like this, the whole movie, and you talk and go rescue the princess and your brother Luigi. You know, if they do that the whole movie, you can't help but laugh. If you hear that, you go, man, that's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
So I think it's the roles he chooses. I wonder if it's a thing of just, he hasn't been passionate since he won that Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club. Yeah. It seems like he's just willing to accept any role that's popular instead of one that challenges him. Dallas Buyers Club, he played a trans woman. Yeah. So like that was a challenging role for him.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't think he's a bad actor, but here's also what I'll say. This is a daring take. I'm going to be in the minority in that opinion. I think everybody who sees this is going to go, Leto was fantastic in that. And I don't know what the hell that guy's talking about. Here's what I challenge you to say, though. Watch that movie. If you see 2 emotions out of him in that movie,
Yeah.
sad, happy, mad, angry, happy, anything. Like if you see two different emotions, then show them to me, please. It's one motion, the whole movie. It's, oh my God, I can't believe she died.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's just so surprising to me. From him, it just surprised me. Like I thought maybe you weren't gonna love the movie, but I didn't expect you to hate Leto.
Yeah.
You know, like I've been a fan of his for a long time.
Same.
So I thought that might have been the only saving grace was just him. Because like with Suicide Squad, I think a lot of people just didn't love the movie.
I don't blame him for that.
That's what I'm saying.
I blame the direction for that.
So like in that one, I give him a little bit of credit. So I thought maybe it'd be similar. Like he wasn't awful, but the movie was just poorly done. I've got to see it because I've been waiting for 3 years at this point almost for Morpheus. Morbius, yeah.
Oh yeah,
I've been waiting.
I guess you're right. Yeah, because it's
been almost 3 years at this point.
Jesus
so
Christ.
I've been wanting to see it. So I'm gonna see it, and I'm definitely curious just to see how. And again, you know me.
Yeah,
I fucking love the worst movies ever, so I might end up loving it. But
and you know me, I will respect if you love that.
But I'm curious to see how it pans out. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed.
I'm gonna wait till it comes on streaming.
Yeah, I probably will too.
Yeah, don't spend money to see this. I don't think even if you
because I can adjust the brightness on my TV.
You should put it at the brightest possible and then like message me a video of it just to see how it looks. Yeah, I think that's fair enough because like to me, I think even if you like this movie, it's still going to be in that 6-7 maybe range for you.
Yeah.
It's not going to be higher than that. There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
So that's number one this week. $39 million dominated the box office. Looking ahead this week, it's going to have some challengers because Sonic has the kid crowd. It has the family crowd.
Yeah.
So Sonic, has the threat to take over. You've got, like I said, Ambulance is coming out. That's a Michael Bay film. The guys always come out in droves for Michael Bay. And then I watch that Everything Everywhere All at Once, which it's not going to be big as far as the box office goes, but if it could sneak in the top 5, I'll be proud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what's going to hurt is you don't hear about it.
No. A24 is always under the rug.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. All it takes is one voice, So that's it for Hollywood this week. Sorry for the very long one.
No, Hollywood's so. I mean, that's what the show really is. I mean, it's pop culture stuff, movies and video games, music. That's what we're most passionate about. So
there's a lot going on this last 2 weeks.
That's why I wanted to get it out of the way first.
Yeah. Well, let's get social next.
It is July 20th, 1969. And man is about to land on the moon.
Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
So what if you did?
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care if you got a little blowy.
Never bothered me, man. He didn't raise my taxes. I was fine.
Yeah, it didn't affect me at all. It didn't affect him being a president either.
Yep.
I was always team Bill. I always liked Bill. Bill and Obama. I liked Bill and Obama.
No, I liked Bill and Obama. Yeah. And I'm not even a Democrat, but I liked them both.
Let's get social. I don't have a ton. There's a couple things that crossed over the news, the airwaves. Big one was just in this last couple of days. I think it actually was Monday that it came out, Monday morning. Elon Musk took a huge purchase, a huge stake in Twitter.
Oh,
so much like a lot of other things that Musk seems to be reactive to is things that happen on Twitter and people kind of like calling him out to do things. Big one was when there was like the hunger in Europe and he was like, sure, I'll do it. Give me statistics on where their money's going to go. But he like listens to tweets and then people that tweet about him.
Now you can ban them.
What's that?
I said, now we can ban them.
Right.
that's true.
Yeah. So people were calling for him to buy out Twitter. I guess the CEO of Twitter has been in some hot water. He said some like stupid stuff online and people have been kind of calling for him to step down and they would say, have Musk buy him out. He can afford to do it anyways. So dude bought like $8 billion worth of Twitter, $8 billion worth of Twitter stock, which gave him like a 9.28% ownership. He owns 9.2% of the publicly traded shares of Twitter, which makes him the highest owner of anyone.
Majority stock
over the CEO.
Yep.
So now it kind of has been going around. What does this mean? What will his influence be on the platform? It doesn't make him the owner per se. He's not the new CEO, but he has the ownership stake in the company. So you imagine he's got to have some kind of say in any kind of like board meetings or the operations. The first tweet he puts out is, do you all want an edit button? It's the first thing he tweets after his buying.
That's Elon for
But
you.
this leaves me to a question is, why the fuck doesn't Twitter have an edit button? Of all social media platforms.
I know. I get tired of having to delete my shit.
Yeah.
And repost it because I misspelled one word.
I don't have a Twitter, so I had no idea.
I rarely use it, but I do get on occasionally. I'll share podcast stuff on there because I try and like promote it on different outlets. But I always wondered, like, it's got to be a simple coding thing to add in. Like, you can edit your tweet after you post it. Why not?
Facebook
has an edit.
Facebook has it. Instagram has it.
Edit.
Why can't you do that? So I'm curious if we get it. I'm curious if Musk now holds the power.
I think we will.
That we surely get it.
You think
Absolutely.
so?
If he can't put an edit button on there, man, you might as well just leave.
Trade your shares.
You'll see it in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I will be pumped if they get it because there's a lot of times you fuck up on there.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
When I'm trying to badmouth the Shurian.
Yeah.
and I look like an idiot because I misspell something.
Instagram didn't always have it though. Instagram, I don't believe, got it until it got bought out by Facebook.
Right.
Ooh.
Because I remember I would fuck up and I would delete my post and I'd repost it because I'd realize after the fact that I spelled something wrong. So it wasn't always there, but it is nice to have.
Yeah.
Twitter's one of the biggest used social media platforms. You would think it's something that they have available.
You can delete your stuff though, right? So that's your
course.
options. It's like you write and you delete.
Well,
you don't have an edit.
It's just annoying.
You can delete it, but it's still out there on the line.
Everything's online. It's permanent.
On the line.
On the line. But you got to think too, like you might post something and it like blows up and then you realize it's a fucking, I'm real weird about that. Like some people don't give a fuck, but if I realize I spelled something wrong, I immediately am going to edit it to fix it. Like I hate when I realize I typoed something.
Yeah.
So it would suck to see it and then have to delete it and then repost it. And then it doesn't really matter at that point. But anyways, throwing around money. I mean, 8 billion to Elon is nothing.
Well, and what I like about him is I don't think Twitter will change a lot because his ideals are very independent to begin with. People have tried to force him to one political ring or the other, and he's always stayed neutral. So I've always kind of liked that about Elon Musk. You know, it's so
I like Musk, man. I'd like to see him be president. I don't think it ever happened. He's a little out there, but I would be okay with him running.
Do you think he could help me get my refrigerator replaced?
Yeah, he'll buy you a new one. Just ask him. Just tweet
I'm
him.
about to.
He can't be worse than the last two.
Yeah.
Hey, can you buy
me a new fridge?
85% share in a Shurian and get this fucking shit fixed?
He might get enough people. There's enough people in that group. Get them all tweeting with you, and maybe he'll fucking do it. Buy you.
I had some random lady message me. She's like, I did a search for a Shurian in Samsung, and I found your post.
Oh God.
And Dan's making friends.
And they are awful. I'm like, I know.
Dude, Dan's going to be the revolution.
Right?
2 weeks since they said that they're going to call me, and they still haven't called me.
Oh my God. These fucking guys, man.
Awful. So yeah, that's the newest from Musk. I mean, that dude's always got something random going on.
Let's start a new segment.
What's that? Elon Musk?
No.
Dan hates a Shurian.
Dan's refrigerator situation.
We can start an Shurian thing and have people call in and tell us their story about what issue they're having with Samsung or a Shurian.
Dan Sandmann, a Shurian thing.
Other thing that's been going on in the news as of late is the Russian-Ukrainian war. Much like everything else that happens in this world, it's hot for a couple days or a week or so, and then you don't really hear about it. I honestly haven't seen much. I know it's still happening. It's not downplaying the fact that the war is still going on,
and
but
talks are still happening too.
It's not the rage of my Facebook feed anymore. I'm not seeing a million posts about it everywhere. Before, you couldn't go online without seeing something about a new update about the Ukrainian and Russian war. Now it's kind of died off. Unless you search for it actively to find out what's new, it's not blowing up.
That's to your argument from 2 years ago when you said things grow stale and people just grow tired
you
of it.
Move on. It's not trendy to talk about. You're not being a social media advocate by like denouncing Russia and standing up for Ukraine anymore. It was cool for the weekend or whatever, and people have moved on. But you guys,
do you think it's because of our like standing back and letting it play itself out? The US's involvement in it is on the back end and not front line?
I think it's just people don't care. I mean, it's still.
Is it because it's not? We're not there fighting with them.
That could be a part in it. I also think it's. I feel like if we take almost any, with exception to COVID, because that's been front of mind forever. But I think if you take any of the real hot topics that we've talked about on the show on like a weekly segment, that's it. We don't bring it up again. It doesn't last longer than like 1 week's episode where we don't, it's not often where we're doing like recaps of a previous thing we talked about, like what we did with COVID. You know, we're not going back and saying, hey, you know, last week we talked about this is what's going on now. Like the things don't really.
COVID was such an unproven science.
Right. Yeah. They don't last. The importance or the hype behind a lot of them just don't seem to last. Like I feel like the Afghanistan thing, the same thing. Everyone was like up and roar over Biden's situation with Afghanistan because it was cool to like stick it to the man and say Biden sucked because it fit your political agenda. But then nobody talked about it. You know, nobody talked about the pulling out and how it affected. It was cool for that 1 week. We talked about it on like 1 week's episode, maybe 2 tops.
Yeah.
And then that was it. You know,
true.
But the news doesn't
this
stick
is still
around.
But this war is still going on. That's the thing.
I know. We lost the interest in it.
I do on like occasionally we'll swipe on my phone over to the Apple News and I'll see the headlines
for sure
of what's going on. But it's just like
you have to look for it now.
I just did, and right now it's not on there. House votes to hold former Trump aides Navarro and Scavino in contempt.
Yeah.
And Ethiopia war.
Yeah. I don't even know what that is.
But that's it. There's nothing about Russia and Ukraine. So.
My theory is a little different from your guys's. I feel that the situation right now isn't as hopelessly bleak as it was, say, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So, like, looking at things now, and here's a credit to your argument. Here's where I'm going to say you were right. The sanctions seem to be working in this instance to where so Russia is noticeably showing their vulnerability. Not only have they lost 10% of their overall army, but they are now leaning heavily on China to fund them and say, hey, look, send us this. Yeah. Otherwise, you know, we're going to have to go home and turn it in. Yep. Now that with the fact that, as we're going to report here in a second, Kiev has now been taken back over by the Ukrainians.
Yep.
I think now the Ukrainians are standing together, and that's inspiring a lot of people.
Yep.
So I hate to say this, people don't report on inspiration as much as they do desperate and bleak.
It's true.
That's the thing with all social media. It really is.
Fear mongering.
It is. Oh yeah, it is. And we had that with COVID too, big time.
Yep.
So yeah, I feel like that plays into it. Ukraine doesn't seem as defeated as they were, say, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I think the big part of it is me and my brother were talking about this. Is Russia thought they were going to go in and Ukraine was going to roll over, and
dominate.
They didn't.
No,
they have not put down. I commend that president. He can be our president.
That's the one I want. Yeah.
I would love for that man. Yeah. The courage and just the standby and belief,
the resilience
in the oath that you took to stand up and be there for your country. If anyone has done it, it's that man. Yeah. And I commend him for that.
He's on the front lines.
That dude is sleeping in tents with his troops, eating shitty meals like rations and crap like anybody else in the military,
and still calling Putin a bitch.
And still saying fuck you. I mean, Russia did not expect that. There's Ukraine standing their ground, and I think that you made a very good point. It's not it doesn't seem like Ukraine is being run over and devastated like we initially thought. Yeah. And that's it's lost that hype. You know, they're retreating a little bit, and
the urgency's not there.
Yeah. So it's a fair point as well. But interestingly enough, it seems like it's going to die down. Still don't think Putin's just going to like walk away.
No, I don't
He's got too much pride. So I don't know what that means for like the next step in this. If he kind of regroups, they need China. Which if it escalates to that, then it's just a whole nother. Then America gets involved.
Well, America already told China, in those meetings that I can't remember. I think it's Ming Na is their president or their prime minister. But Biden met with him last week, and he had said, he laid it down. If you get involved in this, we're going to get involved in this.
Yeah.
And that's going to be bad for everybody. Those sanctions that are going against Russia, they're going to come right to you too.
Yep. So I think that escalates things, and then it will by all means be back on the headlines, and we'll be talking about it more because if we go to war with China, that's a whole nother fuck.
That's a bad one.
Yeah, we don't need it nor want that. We've had to have minimal involvement in this, which is great. So, Ukraine has held their own. We've sent minimal help for supplies and things, but we haven't had to send troops or, be boots on the ground or anything. So that's good.
What a brave nation, man. My hat's off to them.
I give them so much credit.
Yeah.
So much credit. The only other thing, and this just came up when I was scrolling, is a post from Joe Rogan, who we all know Joe
Rogan.
I love Joe Rogan. The dude's a fucking nut.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Elon got to be like best friends because they're both kooky.
He can play pool better than any celebrity I've ever seen in my
Rogan?
life. Yes.
Yeah. You gonna invite him to the tournament?
Fucking, I'll drop out.
He shared this post from Live Science. I don't know what kind of reputable source this is, but he shared this screenshot from Live Science. It says UFOs left radiation burns and unaccounted for pregnancies. New Pentagon report claims. And then he posted, "I'm pregnant." He's a fucking idiot.
I think that last line is so like news sites don't come after his ass again like they did the one time about COVID.
I'm pregnant. Here's the thing.
You better start making jokes of it. So,
but here's the thing that when I saw this that I thought about, and it goes back to my topic about like things are cool for like a week or so. Is you remember when we were fighting about UFOs and we were in Storm Area 51 and everyone was like up in arms over it. And then Biden became president, or I think it was Biden. And we said, yeah, UFOs are real. And then no one fucking cared anymore. But why haven't we seen the aliens or anything yet? Like they released that aliens are real, but how come we haven't seen spaceships or like any of the Area 51 stuff? Like it's no longer a secret. It wasn't Area 51 just to like hold the alien secrets hostage.
And that was rumored at first. Now they're kind of like, just all but confirming it.
Yeah. But we still haven't seen an alien, right?
Because once the controversy's out of the bag and everybody's talking about it, it's not the controversy
I just want to see
anymore.
the fucking alien. Will Smith fought for the world.
Independence Day is what I was going to say.
I mean, come on, man. You turn your back on Will Smith, he saved the world.
Welcome to Earth.
I just think that is interesting. Like it's so hype and everyone wants to know about it and fight for it. And then it's like, okay, they're real cool.
Those aliens were watching the Oscars and they're like, see, it hurts.
He fucking hit me, slapped you.
You guys are fucking
stupid. Punk bitch.
That's a classic movie, though.
Yeah, I like Independence Day.
It's got Goldblum in it.
Oh yeah,
I watched the whole. I should have been in the Hollywood Report section, but today or yesterday I watched all 3 original Jurassic Parks, and God, I forgot how bad those last ones are.
The third one's awful.
They're
so
terrible.
Bad. How do you go? Okay, we always talk that like sequels and stuff are always awful. That's one of the best examples of the first one being a fucking amazing classic, and then the sequels being awful.
How can the CGI of the first movie still hold up today, but yet the CGI of the second and third movie looks so fucking awful and hollow?
Yeah,
that's got to be one of the worst trilogies. And it hurts me to say that. Jurassic Park is one of my all-time favorite movies. But that's got to be one of the worst trilogies. Those follow-ups, that I know everyone hates the new Jurassic World. I love them.
The first one I thought was okay.
That first trilogy is worse than the new trilogy.
No.
Hot take.
Because the first movie is still there. The first movie is a masterpiece. Then the other 2 are just
okay. If you had to average the scores of all 3 when the new one comes out,
there's no movie of the Jurassic World that matches Jurassic Park.
Okay, but let's say this. Say you gave Jurassic Park a 10 and the other 2 a 1. So then what's your average on that? So you got 12 divided by 3. 4. 12 divided by 3, so 4. And you gave a 6 to all 3 of the new ones, and then it makes the first trilogy a worse trilogy.
I didn't give a 6 to the second one. That was for damn sure.
What did you give the first one, though?
Whatever it was, Dark World or whatever it was called.
Do you remember what you gave the first one?
The first Jurassic World?
Jurassic World, yeah. They were
7 out of 10.
Okay, and then the second one maybe a 5?
The second one I think was a 4.
Okay, so even there, you're probably still beating the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Because those follow-ups were just so bad.
I just think the first one's so good. So that's the redeeming factor. I'm like, well, the first one's great, but the other 2 are just there, It's
just so painfully bad how poorly they did them.
Yeah.
If had fucking what's there was in there.
If there was a Jurassic Park back to back to back, I would watch the first one and I'd change the channel for the second and third one.
There you go. That's yeah.
Like I have no, but if Jurassic World was playing, I'd watch both of them.
Would you?
Yeah, I enjoyed both of them.
I love Jurassic World.
Those stupid kids in the second one. I can't get over them, man.
You really hated them that much?
Those kids are stupid. That little girl at the end. Remember what was the latest one called? Was it Dominion? Or
Dominion's the one coming out. It's Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom is the one I'm talking about. Okay, so like the end of the movie, she goes, "Let them out. They just want to be free and all that." I'm like, "Fuck you, bitch. We're all gonna die."
They're just like me.
It's such a it's funny, but it's not. It just kind of comical. They're so identical.
Mhm.
The new series and the old series. It's the same fucking movies. They're just redone.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, the second one ties so closely to Lost World with them escaping and fucking taking on the main world and everything. And
LA.
They're so similar.
Mhm.
I don't know. I know a lot of people didn't love them. I'd be curious what the overall thought is. I'm stoked for the newest one. I can't fucking wait.
I'm just prejudicial against Chris Pratt.
I know you, but Bryce Dallas doesn't help a little
she's so
bit.
smoking sexy.
Oh boy,
yeah, she's
something.
She's
else.
a dame.
Yeah, I like them. I can't wait for the new one to come out.
That's
June or something. June or July.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to see it. So
of course.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. You're gonna fucking love it.
Maybe if Chris Pratt dies,
he might. It's the third one. It's the last one.
It is the last one.
I really don't have a hate toward him. It's just he's cast in everything.
He's just so
but he
good.
does.
He's the new.
So well.
What we're talking about earlier. He's the new guy.
Yeah.
He's the new name of Hollywood. Chris Pratt.
Yeah, he's the Bruce Willis.
And Super Mario. When's that come out?
Next
We're
year.
sidetracking. We're
Next
not even
year.
in Hollywood anymore. Anything else going on in the world exciting that you guys have seen? Any new headlines or I mean, I know there's a lot of news that goes on, but it's like I don't want to talk about just stupid local, like irrelevant stuff for the most part, you know.
I just thought the Trump social media app was pretty funny. Your Truth or whatever the hell it's called.
What is it? Oh yeah,
It's the social media app that Donald Trump came out with.
I still have been seeing Trump 2024 signs. Is he gonna run? Do people really think he's gonna run
He's
again?
got the Republican Party, so
you think he runs?
I think so.
Sorry, I was just thinking of something completely different. Did you guys watch that Bitcoin? It's on Netflix, the documentary trying to find the Bitcoin.
Oh, the Bitcoin King or whatever the hell it's
Yeah.
called. Yeah,
No.
I didn't see it, but I saw like the preview.
So I'm just thinking, like, with the value that Bitcoin is at right now, do you see any chance of any of the other digital media or digital currencies peaking?
Well, which is
anytime
what?
soon?
What's the value right now? Is it bad or
It's
good?
like- It's good. I mean, I think it's good. It's like 37,000. But when I was watching this documentary, they're talking about it peaked at like 17,000 and then it crashed to like 5,000. People were trying to sell their Bitcoins.
Jesus.
And this guy was running it's basically a scam. Claiming that he had this reserve of Bitcoin, like
that's what scares me about all that shit.
And he didn't have the money to pay out. He was
didn't.
he was using everybody else's money that they were investing to pay for other people cashing out. Like he was just moving the money, and he didn't have any physical. Like he didn't have. He didn't have any physical Bitcoins in his possession,
Mhm.
or like I shouldn't say physical because it's a digital. But he didn't have the Bitcoins in his possession to cash out.
Yeah, not for me.
And he cashed out the money and ran.
I don't understand any of it, man.
I don't either. I still don't know what an NFT is. You can try to explain it to me.
I don't get any.
But
I haven't taken the time to look into it because this thing is fucking stupid.
Dude, like this Dogecoin, man. I want it to
going
take
up
off
again.
I know, but it's peaking. I mean, it's like a roller coaster ride. It's up and down, up and down.
Gotta
I
be
keep
for the
getting the
long haul.
notifications. I know, but we've been in it, what, 2 years now?
But we're back to, we're back up. We're getting back up to where it was, though. Like we're slowly inching back. It was like down. I mean, it was down
to
there.
like 11.
It was down to
And
11. Now
I
it's
think
back
it's
to
17.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting back up there.
Was it down because everybody was into it at that time and it just dragged it down?
All those are just a long haul. Anything with even just stocks. You have to. When I worked in branches in banking and did financing with people, like I always told them 5-year plan.
Mhm.
Like as long as you don't have plans for this money for at least 5 years, it's worth investing in. If you're going to need it in 2-3 years, don't do it because you're too at risk. You have to be willing to play the long game.
Rainy day cash.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You got to set Bitcoin. I mean, people were sitting on that forever and then fucking blew up. People are millionaires.
Yeah.
I mean, Dogecoin was at 0.0001%.
I know. That's what I'm thinking.
Just
Like,
gotta ride it out.
is it going to peak now because it started so low?
I'd like to get it to 50 cents or so and then
Dude, I
cash out.
was doing the math.
Would you?
But there's so much.
50?
How many people have a ton of shares right now, or a ton of pieces of Dogecoin because of that initial boom?
Yeah,
that happened with it. How many people have a ton of it, and what's the value of it in 10 years? Is it gonna?
It's just the value's never going to be anything crazy, I don't think. But my thing with it is riding it out for at least the foreseeable future, a couple more years, as this digital world is starting to evolve more in digital coin becomes more popular.
But is Dogecoin going to hold up?
Greater ones will come
It's
out.
one of the bigger names, though. It's one of the, I mean, it's Doge, it's Ethereum, it's Bitcoin. Like, there's a lot of that. If Space Moon came along, but they were all after the fact. Like, Doge has been around for a little while and kind of built a name for itself. I think the hesitation is just a lot of people don't understand or believe in the cryptocurrency, but like crypto.com is advertising tons. It's going to start getting traded more publicly. I think you just got to hold on to it. Just ride it out.
Because I think I have
see
like
what happens.
678 shares or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if it gets to that, Bitcoin dollar,
thousands of shares.
Yeah, I don't have a ton.
I bought a lot.
I did the math and it was a couple 100 million.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, cash out. Let's go.
Just ride it. I mean, you don't have a lot invested. It's not like anything to lose.
$45 I have invested in it.
You just ride it. I check it like usually weekly. I'll just to kind of see where it's fallen or where I keep getting the things on top, but I don't
up 5%. It's down 5%.
Yeah.
It's up 5%. It's down 5%. It's like I get 10 notifications a day, and it's like
you got to ride it. That's the hardest thing for people that do any sort of investing is that
Patience.
they don't have the patience to ride it out. You know, if you buy stocks, you got to buy it and let it sit. Same thing with any kind of crypto. You can't be in it to like hope you're going to make a quick buck in a month because you're not.
And that's what they said in this thing is like one guy, one of the when it crashed, the guy's like, I cashed out all my Bitcoin and I sold my apartment and all this.
Oh my God.
And he sent it over like all the money because he's a Canadian and he wanted to convert. He was living in LA and he wanted to convert all that Bitcoin money into Canadian, and you lose so much money on the exchange rate. Yeah. So he wanted to move that money into this, I forget what the company was called, to convert it into Bitcoin.
But a Canadian company though.
Yes. And then when he gets to Canada, he can cash it out.
Even I knew that was stupid.
So when he went to cash it out, he kept getting the transaction processing, 400 grand. That dude was out. He lost everything, all of his life savings, because this guy just up and ran. And they did more digging, and he ran 2 other scam companies before taking on this this Bitcoin harnessing trading block.
And there's nothing you can do. You can't find those people.
Yeah, that's what they said. You can't
find them.
That's what scares me about all that shit, man. I just
Oh yeah, I mean it's not backed by anything. I mean, you'd be out by all means if they decided just to shut.
They said he died
down.
He died in India.
Jeez.
From like some type of bowel issue.
Yeah, fucking ate himself to death. So he lost all his fucking money.
No, the guy who was running the company.
Oh, whoops.
Not the guy who lost his life savings.
Life savings and then his life.
But yeah, I was just wondering about the digital money.
I don't get it. That and NFTs. I don't understand the concept behind any of them, and it just doesn't make sense to me. The whole digital. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're in a place yet where like the whole virtual reality world is a thing. We're not that advanced. You know, we're not Ready Player One ready.
No.
You know, like we're not. I don't think technology is there for one. I mean, a lot of those virtual reality, it looks so bad. It's not even like good quality, you know, interfacing or whatever.
A blueprint at best.
And I don't think well for the NFTs and everything, but I don't think it's that as far as this digital currency. It's easier to store that, like, just you don't have cash. I mean, you have all your cards and stuff on your phones now anyway.
Yeah.
And you can pay.
That's the thing. You don't
tap to pay with your phone and all that stuff. But it's transferring these Bitcoins and this digital money a different way. It's just a different way of paying rather than cash or credit.
I just think we're that advanced. I don't think we're ready for that though. Like we're not at a place where we need a replacement for the current currency.
No. I think
that's like people that are doing it or that are getting highly invested in it are people that are really in belief that the dollar is at risk or the dollar is going to fall and they want to invest their money outside of regular banking. I just don't, the majority, I'd say you're probably like a 0.01% of people ready or truly believe that they're going to transact in a digital currency. Because like you said, we have the ability to transact digitally already. We don't need a new currency to do that.
Right.
You're using your US currency to just buy another currency. Like you just have two currencies.
Yeah. See, all you need is the backing of enough companies. Now, the problem with the digital currency is the fluctuation in value is so great. They don't want to put their money into that. You buy a car,
more of an investment than a currency. It's more of a stock. It's
and
not really
that's what's scary.
currency.
That's what's scary about it, because so you have $10 in your wallet. You know, at all times you have $10 in your wallet.
Exactly.
That $10 is going to be there regardless.
Yep.
That part is scary to me.
Yep. There's no, and that's because, like Dan mentioned, it's not backed by anything.
Yeah.
So it's more an investment platform than it is anything else. You know, it's not a, I don't know. It's not for me, but it doesn't mean
because the value of a dollar fluctuates a penny here and there,
small amount,
whereas a Bitcoin fluctuates
by the minute, by the second,
$4,000. Like it just could drop. And like the reason why companies aren't backing it is because it could be worth 37,000 today. You give me one Bitcoin tomorrow. That's why, like the whole Tom Brady giving the guy Bitcoin for buying, like, okay, that's what, 37. You gave him $37,000 right now.
Yeah,
but
tomorrow could be worth 10.
Tomorrow could be exactly. So what's the investment there? It's just
that's stupid.
It's too volatile.
That's stupid.
Very volatile is a good word for it. And that's where I don't think it catches on, because I mean, the US isn't going to back a different currency.
No, I hope not.
You know, so I mean, it would take an independent bank basically to take on the risk of it. But with the volatility of it, why? I don't think it catches on to where they think it's going to happen. It's more of like an on-web black market type trading type thing. What
is Bitcoin?
And is that an insurance risk for the bank that takes it on? I mean, like an independent bank that comes in?
You got to think, because at that point, to back the currency, they have to invest their own money to do it. And to Dan's point, if they back crypto, if they back Bitcoin at a value of, let's say, $1,000 per coin, when they put in, and tomorrow that coin crashes and it's worth 500, now the bank is at a loss for all of that investment.
Nobody's going to step up and fund that because it's too big of a risk right off the step.
There's no point.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's at $43,447 right now for
Crazy.
one coin, but it's down $1,785 for today.
Yeah. It's a fad, and it's trendy.
A fad to be that high. That's what's so crazy.
Yeah. You think so? Because it looked like it was getting popular there for a while.
You look at,
but I don't think. But it made okay. So what's the long term? Where do we see Bitcoin 5 years from now? Do we think it becomes a daily consumed thing, or is it still in the same place it is now?
I'm rooting against it.
It may be worth more.
You ready? You ready? 5 years ago,
it was nothing. I mean,
Bitcoin was $1,152 5 years ago.
It's all it is it's basically buying into a stock. That's all you're doing. It's just an investment.
It's at 43,000.
Yeah.
Yep.
I missed the boat, man.
I mean, crypto was first started like 15 some years ago.
Oh, really?
And there was people that had them, and it wasn't worth anything at the time.
In 2007,
2008.
Jesus, really?
So, and it wasn't really anything at the time. And then there was people that still had shares and coin in it when it became huge, like 5 years ago, and fucking became millionaires.
Wow.
Because they had, you might have had 20, 25, 30 coins 2008, and that meant nothing. You had $100, but you have 28 coins now.
You're in the
it
money.
Blew up, man. They were going for $10,000, $15,000 a piece.
The maximum amount of Bitcoin that can ever exist is 21 million.
Yep. That's wild. I don't know. It's weird. It's real weird. I'm sure there's people out there. Look, I'd love to have someone on that would be good.
Absolutely.
That really knows a lot about like NFTs or digital currency that could
Jesse was just messaging us about NFTs.
Jesse don't have time for his friends.
Remember that message he gave us where he said he lost so much?
Oh, I know.
I shouldn't have been laughing because karma, but dude, I was pissing myself.
What a fucker. But no, honestly, if you're listening to this show, and you might not even have to be local to Akron, you know, we can do Zoom guests and stuff if you'd like, but I would love someone that is knowledgeable in that can kind of explain how it works and educate us, because I don't have the patience or wherewithal to research it enough. But I
champ.
would like to know, honestly. I would be curious to see someone. There's people that traded and that are very knowledgeable about it, like you guys are about movies and shoes and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
So
there's TurboTax people that will help us.
Yeah, sure.
I saw the commercials.
If they want to come on as a guest, TurboTax, you can do our taxes for free for us.
I'll need a notebook the night that somebody tries to explain an NFT to me.
Dude, I don't understand.
Get me out of what I owe, please.
Jeez.
Whatever we gotta do.
That bad, huh?
Anything else?
That's not that.
That's it. That's it for now for Let's Get Social.
Let's Get
We do some locker room talk.
Yes, sir.
Swung in line to deep left field. 45-40. Run, William, run. 20, 15. Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up to the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the...
This is locker room talk.
This is locker room talk. It doesn't hold the same value anymore that we don't have a Sports Illustrated writer on here.
Yeah, we are not.
I'm not Jesse Young from Sports Illustrated.
We're not accredited in sports.
Three guys that try and act like they know about sports.
Can I start off with one thing?
Hit it.
Them Suns, man.
Yeah.
Best record in
Franchise history.
Franchise history.
Yep.
Knocking out who?
The Lakers for the second straight year. Yeah.
Sorry, I took your thunder, Ryan.
But
No thunder. You go right ahead.
I will try to subdue the pessimistic side of Chris.
Chris,
boy.
yeah.
So here's what I will say. As a Suns fan, you wait for the other shoe to fall out. But like at the same time, I will say, as far as I've watched these teams go since 1991 when I became a fan, this is the best Suns team that there has ever existed. This beats Barkley's team. This beats Steve Nash's team. All of them pale in comparison to the depth.
They are
on this team.
meshing so well without even their times without their star players.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, so all year they did the study on ESPN a couple days ago, and they said there's been 19 games where the Suns have had their whole lineup this season. 19 out of 79 right now. Wow. And they still find ways to win.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They've got that, like, after last year's playoff run, they have that experience.
Which nobody thought they'd go that far. Like I said second round. I did predict them to beat the Lakers, and then I said they were going to lose in the second round. So yeah.
But like, so they now have that experience in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this could be their year.
Well, yeah, I mean, they came 2 games shy. I mean, dude, it was so close. 2-0 in the finals. They were up on the Bucks. 2 games away. It was right there.
Yeah.
And then they lost 4 in a row. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough because like a lot of those teams aren't as injured as they were last year. So like the West is obviously more developed now. Like the Clippers don't have Kawhi back, and like the Lakers are gone. But like a lot of these teams are now at full staff. Steph's going to come back to the Warriors by the first round, they said. So they're going to get him back. Hopefully, I'm rooting for the Warriors to stay at the 3 seed. So then they have to face Denver in the second round instead of the Suns in the second round, because the Warriors are the one team I don't want to face.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, I don't got LeBron. I can't believe it. You think LeBron's and can never get another ring?
I think he will.
You think he does?
No.
No.
I think
I
he will.
honestly don't know either at this point.
He's
I mean,
gonna find a team.
2 years out.
He'd
though.
have to. It's not going to be LA.
It's not LA.
They're depleted.
He had not been in the playoffs though. First time was last year in his career, right?
The first time last year was when he lost in the first round of the playoffs. Yeah.
Oh, but they made the playoffs last year.
Yeah, we just eliminated. That's why I said for 2 years
not being in the playoffs.
Yeah. No, second, because the first year he was with the Lakers, they didn't go.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's wild. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say like his time has come as far as an athlete, because I think he's got a lot left in him. But I think the era of the like LeBron going to the finals every year, LeBron being in the playoffs, dominating every year is over. I don't think that's going to be
finals for
his
sure
thing anymore. Another ring, maybe. I mean,
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see it. I just don't know if it happens. I mean, 2 years is a big deal for them to not advance and not be in the finals.
Charles Oakley was interviewed. He's a former power forward for the New York Knicks, and he was interviewed this week on a podcast, and he goes, "What's your thoughts on LeBron James?" And he goes, "There's one team that I would love to see him move to win a ring." And he goes, "Oh, really? That's interesting. Where would you see LeBron go?" And he goes, "Phoenix." I was like,
You're like, fuck no.
no. I was like,
You wouldn't take him?
well, here's why. I don't have anything against LeBron James. He's the greatest player, one of the 2 greatest players ever, in my opinion. But he doesn't fit our scheme very well. It's the Odell to the Browns joke that we've talked about 100 times. He slows down our offense. If he could come to our team and accept being a role player to Devin Booker's team, that would be the story. But I just don't see that happening. There's no way LeBron James is going to take a backseat to anybody. So I think we're fine. And I think he should just find the team. Honestly, Cleveland gives him a better chance than the Lakers do, because the East is easier and the Cleveland has a nice young nucleus.
I think I heard they're talking Celtics, like as a landing spot for him.
Him and Tatum. Whew, that'd be tough.
Oof. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where his future holds. I'm a big fan. Obviously, I'd like to see him get another ring, but I don't think he's going to ever meet that. That Michael Jordan 6 thing.
I don't think the 6, no, but I think he's got one.
He's got 4, right?
I think he'll get one more.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know where we were. Dan.
I just jumped right in. It's okay. I added a topic that
we don't get Suns talk often.
We're speaking of LeBron, and Chris was going to badmouth him and pull a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Who?
Is that how you say his name? Did I say it wrong? Kareem Abdul. Wow.
Paula Abdul.
I did say it wrong. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He said something along the lines of like some of the stuff LeBron says is below him or something like that, and got a lot of heat, and then retracted his statement and apologized. Did you guys see that? You think he was in the wrong, or do you have anything more to elaborate on what he did say?
What did he call him out for? So he called him out for saying it was something. I thought he said something in a game or something. I can't remember what it was about.
LeBron can be pretty outspoken, and he said something, and it was below him to say that.
I guess I'd have to know what he said again. I know I read this article the other day, but I can't remember it.
Let me see if I can find it really quick.
Was it towards a fan?
I don't think so.
Or was it towards a player? Or whatever? I don't know it. I don't know the story.
I think it was a player. I think it was like the way the NBA was run or something like that.
It's possible. I mean, he's usually outspoken about the league in itself, and I mean, to Dan's point, I mean, he's come at fans on several occasions. Sure. For being in the way on sidelines or for saying stuff too much. I mean, the one was they said something about his son Bronny, and he got all up in their business and got him kicked out.
I think fans, you have to let go.
Yeah,
like that's not your area of concern. They're there. They paid their spot. Like you.
But there should be some like.
Well, if they're chanting the N word or something like that,
there's some and that's the thing with these. And I've seen it a lot with the fans on the sidelines, just saying whatever.
Yeah.
Being so disrespectful. And it's not about the game. They take it to a personal level because their friend has a phone with the camera on. They want to get that reaction.
Oh, yeah.
And that
happened to Devin Booker last week.
It did.
Did you see that one?
Yes.
I think I sent it to you guys.
That's the one that I'm mainly referring to, but it's happened so often. They're snapping at these players. It's like, chill.
In basketball more than anywhere.
Yeah. Because they're right there.
Yeah. He goes, Devin Booker, you suck. What did he say? Fuck you or something, or like you suck.
I can't remember what he said, but these fans need to chill.
Or no, he said shut up, bitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Devin Booker said shut up, bitch.
Or take that L. Or somebody said take that L.
Yeah.
Because they're whooping ass.
And he goes, shut up, bitch. And he just starts dribbling down the court.
I just shut up and let them play. Like if it's about
dribble?
the game, no, that's not what I said.
Just do what you do.
Play the game.
Play basketball, LeBron.
I'm talking about the fans.
Oh yeah.
On the side,
and
their friends that have the camera phones recording it just for a reaction.
They're trying to get online clout.
It pisses me off.
It's everywhere.
Like those are the fans that should get banned.
Yeah. I think. I mean, I'm not necessarily against LeBron sticking up when a fan is acting out. I mean, it's not really his place, but also. If you're calling out my son or my family,
exactly,
I'm gonna
the same thing we just talked about.
I'm gonna react, and those are people just looking for a reaction.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything like that. I would say sure, like if they're just saying he sucks, get over it.
You have to take that. Yeah, you have to take that.
Right. It's when you start calling out other members of the family or being derogatory in a certain manner, not referring to the game. Just keep that shit out of there.
Stay home.
Pisses me off. No, what was he? What was the?
I couldn't find it directly. I mean, Kareem went on and put out a big statement saying he didn't mean to belittle him, and if he accepted his apology, he would greatly appreciate it. And
it was his social media status, basically the things he calls out in
Okay.
social media.
So, I don't know. He said Kareem said it wasn't his place, and he didn't. He know that
But
he
if it's-
acknowledges LeBron does a lot for the black community, and and you find it.
And yeah, so there was something that happened in a game too. So Sam Cassell, former guard for the Houston Rockets in 1994, every time he would make a three on somebody, he would grab his nuts, and he would like that. And LeBron did that.
LeBron
in
started
one game.
doing that. He's been doing that on a couple games.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's been kind of like doing that, like crunch down, like where he squats down a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's saying that's beneath him, and
it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that,
It's
but
not-
also
it's
like,
not needed.
Especially
it's
when
not
you're
up to
losing.
comment on though. Like,
yeah.
Especially when you're losing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're not really doing anything out there to help your team.
You're down 30 points, guy. Come on.
Here's my thing
I
though.
know you're trying to get your team hype, but
Why come back on what you said? I mean, because it's LeBron. Did you feel threatened that you had to apologize? I mean, you probably really felt that way. I don't think Kareem is sincere in saying that he regrets it. He probably was getting shit for it, so he's like retracting his statement.
So why do most retractions happen?
Mm.
Because the pressure on them.
Yeah,
by
that's
the
what I'm
public.
saying, like-
So here's what I want to know. Who was giving Kareem pressure for something he called LeBron James out on? Was it the media? Was it like, are we
Barkley.
talking ESPN? Was Barkley? It wasn't Barkley. Barkley hates
him,
LeBron James. Yeah.
And he won't come back with anything he says.
No.
Yeah, I just think that's kind of a pussy move, honestly. If you want to call LeBron out, call fucking LeBron out. He's not better than anybody else. I mean, he's better as a player, but he's no different than anyone else.
I'm not apologizing to you. Fuck you.
Yeah, if you felt that way, you have a right to say it.
Yeah.
I mean, does it mean you're right? No. But also, like, you fucking said it already.
You
So at
believe
this
it?
point, just fucking, like, if you said it and you believe it, then whatever. It is what it is.
Kareem's one of the greatest too. So like, I mean, he holds his own.
He's just salty because he's passing everyone up. And he's about to get passed.
He next year it's going to happen.
Yeah. So he's a little butthurt.
I'll say this though, this was the most injured LeBron James has been his whole career, so he's starting to looks
there,
mortal.
Man. He's getting up there. Other basketball talk. Anybody here partake in watch bracket bust, make a bracket with the NCAA?
I made one
tournament.
Yeah, I made one, and I had Arizona going all the way, which was busted by round 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dan, did you do anything with that ever? No. Did you guys watch Final Four? Did you watch Sweet 16? Anything like that?
The national
just championship. That's it.
Yeah.
Who did you not bracket wise? Who did you want to win? Was it Arizona?
North Carolina. Well, oh no, wait. Between the finals,
just overall. Like if you were picking from the start,
Kentucky's my team.
That's your team.
But I actually picked them to lose to St. Peter's in the first round.
Gotcha.
St. Peter's a 15 seed that went all the way to the Elite 8.
Wild.
Yeah. I only had them to the second round though, but yeah, I did call that upset. I had Arizona winning it all. It was Arizona, Baylor, Gonzaga, and someone else. Wasn't Kansas, but I can't remember who out of that region. But yeah, I had Arizona winning it all, and I thought they had the team to take it for sure. And then they got upset. North Carolina was running the table, 8 seed, going all the way to the finals. So I kind of, when it came down to them in Kansas, I was rooting for North Carolina because I'm like, here's a team that's not even in the top 25 when this tournament began.
Yeah,
they were an 8 seed. They were ranked somewhere like 30 something. I want to see them win it all because Kansas is top 5. They're Kansas.
Yeah.
And funny enough, my Kentucky smoked both of them by at least 20 points this season.
Kentucky was always one of the bigger ones, though, right? Wildcats.
Yeah.
I mean, it was always Kentucky, UNC,
Duke.
Yeah. Those were like the big
Gonzaga
names you always kind of felt like you were going to see in the Final Four.
Yeah.
What the finals was, they said apparently they never faced each other. Is that
Duke
right?
and North Carolina.
That's just crazy.
That's hard to
Kansas.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kansas and North Carolina.
No. Duke and North Carolina in the Final Four, the semifinals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Final Four.
Yeah. They had never faced in and they've faced for 90 plus years of their school's histories, and they've never played in an NCAA tournament game.
Wow.
But yeah, NCAA or North Carolina bested them again, and I was glad. Fuck Duke.
Yeah. So Coach K was handed his first loss as a head coach by North Carolina, and then was handed his last loss.
Final loss.
Isn't that weird how it comes full
It
circle?
was crazy.
Yeah.
And he stood I watched when he got up, like he couldn't believe like that happened.
Yeah.
When he went to go congratulate, he's just shaking his head like we're better than
What
this.
I mean, coach for 40 years or something crazy like that?
He's
Been around for a long
I want
time.
to say 90 or something like that. Yeah, 30 something years.
30, yeah. That's wild.
5 national
It's a long
championships. Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. I don't like Duke, but I give the guy credit. He's if not the greatest NCAA coach, he's one of the greatest NCAA coaches of all time.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it on here. College sports has never really been my thing. And I didn't follow much of it. I saw like highlights here and there, but I just kept seeing everyone's brackets just getting fucking destroyed. Right off the rip. Round 1, people just fucking getting destroyed. And I was like,
And then round 2,
people are either losing money or
Lots of
making money.
upsets.
Big money or losing money.
0.001 had a perfect bracket.
That's wild. My buddy was my buddy's bracket ranked 74 out of like, I don't know, whatever, 20 some crazy.
Holy
Let me pull it up and
shit.
See. Yeah, he did. He posted it the other day.
Mine was like 74 out of 74.
No, yeah, his was like, I don't know if is there like an official
ESPN has something.
CBS too. Sportsline always has one.
It was like on like an official like.
Yeah, 74 in a national one is huge.
Let me see.
No matter how big that is.
77th out of 17 million.
Damn.
Yeah, bracket challenge.
I would be
presented by
proud.
Nissan.
I would be proud of that.
Yeah, dude.
Because once you get to the top 100, it's like people who have only lost maybe like 5 games the whole tournament. Like it's the top 20 is probably people that are perfect.
Yeah.
They went perfect somehow the whole tournament. But that like top 100, it's like you have 5, maybe 6 losses here and there. That's impressive. Out of 65 games.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
So I've only ever done a paid bracket one time, and I won it.
Really?
And I never did it again.
That's how it goes though, dude.
Like, okay.
That's how it goes. It's the outsiders that always win. My buddy's wife picks because the mascots. Oh, I like that mascot more than that one. Always wins. Always fucking wins.
Wild. He had 124 points out of the max 156. I don't know what any of that means.
Did he
do it?
Was it a money bracket?
I don't know. He just
Set up?
posted like the screenshot of like his rank amongst the like 17 million.
That's impressive, man.
But I don't know what that means.
I'd be happy in the top 1,000.
That's impressive. I mean, gotta think. I mean, it's a lot of luck, obviously, but still to guess right. I mean, go play some fucking lottery or something.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Sheesh.
And it wasn't a very predictable year. There was a lot of upsets.
Right. One of the things I'm sure Dan's anxious to talk about, you guys were talking a lot of pre-show, is the one and only Mr. Wood.
Tiger Woods
being back on the green. How you guys feel? Do you watch golf, Dan? Jeff? Wow. Fuck me. Do you watch golf, Chris, at all? I know Dan does.
Dan, excited to be here for my first episode.
Welcome to the show. Jeff.
How the fuck did I get Jeff?
My name is Jeff. Do you watch golf?
I do. Yeah, I'm not as religiously as the man over here, but like, yeah, I tune in. Like, I love the Masters, the PGA Championship. I always watch. I'll tune into like the Big Four. But like if it's just a regular, just
I honestly, I'm the same. Actually, I the Masters every year.
Yeah,
I love watching it every year.
Augusta.
It's like the kickoff for me. It's the kickoff to golf season. And every freaking Thursday, even today, I was watching the par 3 contest. The other day I was watching the drive, chip, and putt challenge with the kids, and just as they play that intro, on CBS about Augusta and everything.
The Masters.
I get chill. I'm getting chills right now talking about it. I love this tournament, and the fact that Tiger Woods is making his return
a year
after I think it's been 500 some odd days that he's played in a tournament.
Wow.
And the only reason he is back to play in this tournament is because he believes he can win it. And if he comes out and wins it, holy shit.
Greatest story ever.
Do you think he has a chance to win?
Yeah.
Yeah, you really think so?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Dude, he knows the course. He knows his body.
Yeah.
It's a little different now because he had surgically repaired fractured tibia, whatever you call it, in his leg.
It would be impressive. I mean, to be away for that long and then to come back at his age. And
it'd be the greatest golf story ever. Greatest.
This is the second longest or second longest streak of not playing in a tournament.
Wow.
The last time when it was over 500 days, he missed the cut.
Okay.
I think it was after a back surgery.
Yeah.
But dude, I'm pumped for this.
Dan made a great point before we went live, and this is the factor that I think that's going to be the most compromising possibly to him is that the endurance.
Yes.
how that leg is going to hold up through 4 rounds of play, through 4 days of play, 72 holes. It's a lot,
Jeez,
man,
man,
especially when you're on your feet for majority, if not all of that, you know?
So he's played, I think he played Sunday and Monday, 9 holes each day. And then he played played Tuesday, 9 holes. He hasn't played a full 18 at Augusta yet. And there's a lot of hills. There's a lot of elevation change down there. So
it's a very shifting course too. Yeah.
So the concern that I have for him is if he's in the middle of the fairway and has a clear shot, he'll be fine. But if he has an awkward stance in a bunker or on a side hill or whatever,
13 is going to fuck him.
Pressure on that back leg as he's trying to torque through the swing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But dude's won a tournament with a broken leg before.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm pumped about it. I don't honestly, I hope he wins, but if he doesn't, the fact that he's there, that he made this comeback and prepared his body after that surgery to make this return. He said that if he believes that he can't win anymore is when he's going to retire from golf.
I fully agree. To have that state of mind when you're Tiger Woods, you don't settle for like fucking 10th place or whatever like that. You either play your first or you're not at all.
Right.
Like that's it. I could never see Tiger Woods playing on the senior tour either. Like I never saw that as a reality.
No, so when I first started golfing in high school, Tiger was, I think what was that? 2000 and
he was big since I was in grade school.
I'd say 98, 99.
Yeah, he was like 7th, 8th grade. He was huge.
He was top of his game. Like he was young. When I started golf in high school, they had the first tee program, and we got to watch him put on a swing clinic down at Firestone.
Wow. Because he used to win this
course
every year.
Yeah, it was at the public course, but he was big, and he did a swing clinic, flop shots, chips, putts, all of it. We got to watch. So as a kid, like that was inspiration right there to get better. And he helped drive my love for the game.
He won Bridgestone like every year. That was like it was like his home course.
That was his tour, his event.
Yeah.
But I'm pumped for it.
Yeah.
I might even go out and buy some pimento cheese spread and make my classic Augusta pimento cheese sandwich to snack on while I'm sitting on the couch.
I was going to say, what a sad end to Alicia's spring break when Dan veggies out on the couch for the last 4 days of her vacation. She's going to have to do something to keep herself busy. She'll be right there playing Switch next.
And my boyfriend smells like pimento cheese.
Imagine those farts coming off the couch. Good Lord.
Is that with the smell of not showering? Because I'm watching
God.
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of glad because his mini golf game got rescheduled to Sunday, so I can watch all day Saturday now.
You might shower by then.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or not. Maybe that'll be to your advantage against Dane. Throw him off his game.
Yeah. Yeah.
In other news, kind of Jesse was messaging about this during the show. NFTs. Brady hopped on the NFT bandwagon and bought one of the Bored Ape NFTs for 430,000. So Bored Ape, Eminem has one. Jimmy Kimmel has one. A bunch of celebrities have bought into these.
What's big with those?
I don't know. I really don't understand.
I don't either. That's why I was asking.
I don't really understand the NFTs, but Bored Ape is just one of the pioneers. Like, yeah, they're one of the first ones to start it. And basically, it's all the same ape character, but then they'll like customize them. Like Eminem's looks like him. It's got the same, like his baseball hat and like a chain. It kind of resembles him a little bit. Not that they designed them for the celebrity, but like he bought one that kind of resembled him. They just had like the characters that I do where it's like the same body type.
Yeah.
And then design them to look like that's all it is. It's an ape. And then they just have millions of different versions of it. But for whatever reason, Brady decided he wanted to get one and dropped a cool $500,000 on one.
That guy's so stinking rich. It's ridiculous.
You just decide you're going to buy a fucking $500,000.
So you use it as
digital
as an avatar playing freaking Roblox or something. I don't know.
I mean, but what is Tom Brady actually going to do with that?
I don't know.
And here's the thing that I don't understand. Here's the thing I don't
understand. It has to be a branding thing, like tie into his branding.
But here's the thing I don't get. So Brady bought this version of the Bored Ape. What's keeping me from screenshotting it and posting it on my Facebook?
You get sued.
likeness, maybe.
I don't get how that works. Like he owns like the original, but does that mean
No, he
like,
doesn't. So
he doesn't own the original. He owns the digital digital authenticated version of it.
I don't fuck.
So that doesn't prevent someone else from posting it though? Like, does that mean Tom Brady is the only one that's allowed to share that picture?
Probably. I'm assuming.
I would say so.
And if somebody else shares it, or if he gets wind that other people are copying it, now you can go after him.
It's a personal likeness that he purchased and you know, solidified as his own.
So like, what happens if you share it? Like, I mean, you're not claiming ownership. Like if I shared the picture of his Bored Ape and said, "Oh, look at Tom Brady joined the NFT game," and I shared it. I mean,
you can do that.
Yeah,
because you're not claiming it as your own.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't own it, but I mean, can I post it as my profile picture on Facebook if I wanted to? Like, I don't understand what the rules and regulation. It doesn't make sense to me.
I want to say yes.
So we need an NFT expert to come on the show. Really, I want to know more.
I just
want
to say you can't use it as like your own business investment.
You can't say you own it.
Yeah, like
it's like if you did an original painting for someone and sent it, and it has an authentication saying that like this is the original.
I think they come with authentications.
Yeah, they're authenticated with like a barcode that you can scan and show that you're like the original owner.
Yeah,
but it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I
don't ask me, dude.
Some reason Brady thought it was worth $500,000 though.
Well, he can do.
He can afford it. So
give me 20,000.
Just give me a refrigerator.
Unreal. That's from Elon, not from Brady.
Brady's back to that.
Brady ain't buying fridges. Anyways, I don't fucking. It's fucking stupid. Money. I want to know who the creator of Bored Ape is, because that person's fucking rolling.
Yeah. Oh, they are.
They're Eminem, Tom Brady,
fucking loaded.
You could have been Bored Ape,
or I didn't design the Bored Ape.
But you could have been.
I could have. You could have been.
No, I can't. I'm not.
I mean, Chris could have been. Anybody could have been the Bored Ape. Someone fucking decided to draw a fucking somewhere. Ape cartoon and blew the fuck up.
Yeah, I don't fucking understand anything about Dogecoin or anything of that shit. But sure, I designed it.
Fucking the Paul's got Bored Apes. Did you see the older Paul's Pikachu? He has it in an $80,000.
He carried it to the ring at WrestleMania.
Yeah. It's the highest. He's in the Guinness World Records.
It's what,
for the highest card to go at auction or something like that. The owner,
I wouldn't be.
No one had ever seen this card. It has never been publicly seen, and there's never been a picture of this card before. The previous owner told no one, and Paul said he's been in negotiation to get it for like over a year, trying to get the owner to finally sell it. Bought it for a couple mil.
I think it's like 1.4 million. He bought it for.
The first picture ever, and it's the only 10 out of 10 rated.
Because they only made like 33 of those cards or something like that.
Bro,
I'm not carrying that shit to the ring at WrestleMania. He's got it around his fucking
$80,000 diamond encrusted Pokeball case. That shit is wild, bro.
But the card is worth $4 million. Like,
it's worth a shit ton of money.
Over $4 million.
I don't get the owning it, but it's pretty cool to know like you have the only mid-condition version of that.
10 graded.
And you better be very careful with that thing.
Wild, dude. Like, that's crazy. To have that kind of money is just like, what the fuck?
That would give me an anxiety attack having that thing around my neck. Yeah, I wouldn't feel good.
I mean, not that he's like anything crazy, but I'm not trying to fight Logan Paul to steal it.
Yeah.
I mean, he did pretty good on WrestleMania.
He did. Well,
I know you hated that he was there.
No, but he handled himself well.
Yeah.
Like
I watched his.
He's a state wrestler anyway.
Yeah.
He was like a state, not champion, but he was a state finalist wrestler.
I was kind of surprised they let him disrespect Mysterio that way, though.
Oh, well, fuck Rey Mysterio.
I know, but I mean, you have like a no-namer. I mean, he's not a no-namer, but to wrestling, you have a no-namer come in and disrespect.
That's the business.
A well-named person like
celebrities. Celebrities always dominate in the business. That's how it is. It's
how they get the ratings.
Yeah. No, I was just shocked. I was like, God, what a slap in the face.
I was shocked when Miz turned on him. I was like, wow, because Miz is like one of the biggest heels there is, and for him to turn on his partner,
I was pretty impressed by his ring. I mean, that's not an easy wrestling, fake as it is not an easy thing to do.
Trust me,
you know. And watching him on the top rope and fucking slamming that, I was like, okay, Logan.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we were talking about Connor, and then that freaking was that real?
What?
That post from Connor?
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about wanting him to be at wrestling, and then a day later he posts about it.
So Connor's been teasing it, and WWE's been teasing back and forth for years. They've talked shit to each other back and forth.
Do it.
Yeah, it's gonna happen someday. But Connor's still a fighter. When he's done being a fighter, then you'll see him go to
even
WWE.
Just like an appearance, even just like a guest, like a Logan thing.
Yeah,
like have him come in just fucking and do a celebrity match. I'd love to see it.
I think once he's done fighting, because fighting, you have to be top shape. Wrestling, you have to be there. Like, it's the physicality is there, but you're not fighting as an actual unpredetermined match.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's predetermined. So if they write you to win, you're winning.
Yeah. I didn't have this in here because I honestly forgot about it until I just brought up the Pokemon thing. But WrestleMania Hall of Fame was this past weekend, right?
Yeah.
You had posted that you were disappointed in the Hall of Fame
direction
and
that's
stuff.
taken.
What I didn't see, I watched a couple clips. Like, I watched Undertaker's
was
emotional,
great.
and
Undertaker's was the exception.
Yeah. What all happened though that you didn't love or that was disappointing?
So first of all, you have to know that the Hall of Fame has been, a yearly tradition since 1993. Andre the Giant was the only person that went in that inaugural year.
Wow.
So like what they do is they'd have a banquet, like they do it at a real nice place. You'd have seats like an auditorium, kind of looks like EJ Thomas Hall, basically.
Yeah.
And they would do it on stage there.
Like a real commencement thing, not a spectacle like wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I don't like about where it is now is they do it right after a SmackDown. They do it right there in the arena, in the ring, in front of everybody. So what this does is, one, from audibility, it hurts the volume levels of the person talking. So you can hear some idiot chanting like, "We still hate you," or something like that, while this person's breaking down their most sensitive moment of their careers.
Yeah.
So I don't like that. The fans shouldn't have that much influence over the whole thing. Two, every speaker last year and this year, minus the Undertaker, has not had free reign of their speeches. So part of the thing that makes this my favorite night of the year is that you have speakers who will get up there, they'll talk about 20 minutes of road stories, basically. Like this time when Owen Hart and I were at a truck stop in Nebraska, and we met this weird guy who threw confetti at us and all that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to hear those stories. That's why I tune in. There's none of those anymore. They're all gone. WWE has scrubbed those completely clean. So now it's basically bullet point speeches. They'll tell you, like, talk about this, and then go home in about 5 minutes. That's what all of them feel like. They're conveyor belt speeches to me. They all feel the same. The only exception, like I said, was the Undertaker, who they let go out there and talk for about an hour. It basically felt like a TED Talk because he had an earpiece microphone on, and he was out there. He's kind of like walking around the ring and talking to the audience, interacting with them. It literally felt like a TED Talk. But it had the speeches, like it had the occasions, the stories, the interactions with wrestlers, how he became a wrestler, all that stuff that I want to know. That's what that night is reserved for. And if you don't have that, you might as well not even have that fucking night. I don't want to hear like a deceased wrestler's family come up there and say like, well, he was real happy to be a wrestler and he loved his fans, and then say his quote, 3 or 4 times. So the audience cheers and gets a pop out of it, and then go home. That's it. Like, that wrestler happened to be Vader on there, and Vader was one of the biggest big men of the 90s. If you knew who Vader was, man, the dude was a monster, and he deserved at least a 10-minute speech. And I know he's deceased now, but like, you're telling me there wasn't one wrestler back there who had an interaction with Vader who could have come out there and inaugurated him into the Hall of Fame? Like, I just don't get it. Like, it's the way it used to be. Watch the Hall of Fame anywhere from like 93 to 2000, and we'll say 18 or 19, right before COVID happened. Those are great years. I can understand why they changed it for COVID, because obviously fans couldn't be, it wasn't a full arena kind of thing. But now that we're back, dude, it needs to be in a hall, a banquet hall. It needs to be nice. It needs to be classy and sophisticated. That's the way it is.
It's almost an afterthought.
Yeah.
After the SmackDown or after the wrestling event.
And those guys are tired anyway. And then you're asking them like, oh, go get dressed and all that and get ready to go out there and sit in your seat for fucking 2 hours now.
Who was the big match of the night?
For WrestleMania?
Yeah.
It was billed as the biggest WrestleMania match ever. Champion versus champion, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for both belts.
Wow.
So the winner went home the undisputed champion.
And that was
Roman Reigns.
Okay.
And I was fucking shocked.
Yeah.
Like, this WrestleMania to me blew off my expectations because I was not expecting a good show at all. Everything seemed very easy to predict. Everything was so unpredictable. Ronda Rousey lost, which I totally didn't see coming.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, didn't Brock leave and go to another wrestling or come back, or was that when he went to UFC?
I think it was when he went to UFC.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was still a WWE wrestler.
Okay.
Well, he left WWE when in 2004.
Yeah.
He left to go be a football player at first. That didn't pan out. Then he ended up being an MMA fighter.
Gotcha.
And he only came back in 2012.
Gotcha. Yeah, I remember when he first entered, and then I knew he had left, but I gotta watch some of it. I used to love watching wrestling, and then I got away from it just because I didn't follow any of the new people. But it was always fun to watch. I saw Triple H is retiring officially.
Left his boots in the ring. Yeah, at the start
Wow.
of the second night, he goes out there. He gave a really brief speech, but he just basically said thank you to the fans, and then he said this is WrestleMania and left his boots in the ring.
I never really loved him as
he
wasn't my favorite character.
Yeah.
He always kind of annoyed me, but that's a big name to step away.
Well, and for him, it was a condition too. It was the fact that he has a pacemaker now in his heart, so he can't do it anymore.
Jeez, man.
Yeah.
They take a lot of beating, a lot of wear and tear on their bodies.
Oh,
I mean, you got to think I saw Stone Cold and they're running around with fucking 2 knee braces on.
Yeah.
Like, God, he's sad.
And
he's been rocking knee braces for a while.
It was like his thing. Yeah. Cause he injured his knees real bad.
Oh yeah. His spine too. Well, that was the big issue, was that why he had to retire prematurely at WrestleMania 19 against The Rock is because the night before his body collapsed on him. He was literally in the hospital.
Yeah.
So, and they told him, they said, this is stupid to go out there and fight. He goes, to hell with it. I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah.
He said, I'm putting The Rock over. Like, this is the kid that I want to put over. And he goes, I'm doing it. So that was his last match in Seattle. And it was a pretty solid match. I look at that as one of the greatest WrestleMania events of all time. The card top to bottom. Perfect.
Yeah.
So he came back, almost 20 years later to face Kevin Owens, and everybody was kind of questioning if he was going to have an actual match or if it was just going to be one of those, like, he stuns him, maybe drinks a beer with him, stuns him, and the whole in the ring spiel.
Yeah.
But when he came out with knee braces, everybody was like, oh, I know where this is going. And he gets in the ring, and the first thing he does, he goes over the corner, puts his leg on there, tightens up the knee brace. And I'm like, fuck, I know where this is going. So he takes him to school, and I gotta say, Austin looked pretty good. I was thinking, because he's such a tender vet, that they were gonna kind of take care of him. Owens did a lot of the spots, obviously, but there was one spot where he suplexes Austin out on the concrete, like outside, like in the fans. Jeez. And he took it, and I was like, oh fuck, man, like that's the kind of moves the doctor advised you against, but he fucking took it like a champ.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was entertaining. It wasn't the best match of the night, but it was entertaining.
Yeah. I was always a big fan of his. Him, The Rock.
Yeah. I was Kurt Angle, man. I was during that era.
Yeah.
I was a huge Kurt Angle fan.
Were you big into wrestling at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was your favorite?
Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
From
Ultimate Warrior
the
was
beginning.
dope.
And then we talked about it. Mysterio. Rey Mysterio was a fan. Like,
he got disrespected
well
by Logan Paul.
Yeah.
That's fine.
He's a constant professional, though. He's always going to put that guy over. Like,
yeah.
That's Ray's married to the business.
Yeah.
Almost like
sure.
nobody else. Like, that's a tradition for him.
Yeah.
But
Ray was
yeah,
always
it was
cool
always
too.
Ultimate Warrior, and then The Rock I was a big fan of The Rock.
Yeah.
And 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Yeah.
1, 2,
Sean
3
Waltman himself, who
Kid.
just had a
my
surgery.
Goodness.
Yep.
There's so many classics, like the old school wrestlers. Like
Kevin
we were talking
Nash.
about earlier with the actors. Like
Razor
I feel like
Big
Ramon.
Sexy.
the OG wrestlers was where it was at. Man.
Yeah.
There was just so many names, so many big names that were just so fun to watch. And
I'm pumped because I got the N64 up and running. I got Nitro, and I can't remember what the other
WrestleMania
wrestling.
2000 was one of my favorites.
Mhm.
I got those, so I'm looking forward to firing those up.
The best memory of my life was when I went to Mania 26
Mm-hmm.
when it was in Arizona. My friend Stu and
Oh.
I went, and we went out there, and the first night we're there, our hotel has like this pamphlet down at the front desk, and it says meet Bret Hart at this FYE music store tonight.
What?
And we're supposed to go to the Suns Knicks game that night. Like, we were in town, we were going to go see a Suns game. And he looks at me and he goes, we're not going to that game, are we? And I was like, probably not the first half. So,
wow, and you call yourself a fan?
I
of the
know,
Suns.
but dude,
But
Bret Hart was my be all end all. That
Yeah.
was my number one wrestler. So, like,
Hell yeah.
we go there, we waited probably about an hour and a half to get through the line and finally meet him.
Yeah.
Totally nice guy. I still have the 2 t-shirts that he signed for me. The only thing I was pissed about is that I handed my camera to the woman that was like working there and to take a picture. My picture sucked, but my buddy Stu has this perfect picture
Yeah.
of like face-to-face interaction and all that. He's over his table,
Yeah.
handshaking him.
Maybe if you had your wiener away when you got the picture taken, she would have been so confused.
Oh, you're right.
It happens. It happens.
Wieners.
I gotta talk to my shrink.
Wieners on the windows at the Alana Club.
Wieners on the glass. These
I
kids are out of control.
I miss wrestling.
I miss Varsity Blues.
That. Yeah, that's that too. That's a fucking classic movie.
Yes, it is.
The only memory I'd ever connect to that movie is the girl I had the hugest crush on in middle school.
Don't say it looked like Allie Larder.
She was pretty cute, but not Ollie Lauder cute. Ollie Lauder is something else. But the girl I had the hugest crush on in middle school invited me over to watch that movie, and I rode my bicycle to her house when we watched that movie on the couch and made out. Then her fucking mom walked in from work, and I was like, son of a bitch. But it's all I remember. It's the first time I ever saw the movie. It was like the greatest moment of like my schooling career.
How old were you?
7th, 8th grade.
Oh,
7th
man.
grade. Yeah, because then we went to
13, 14.
DC in 8th grade or 7th grade. I don't know. It was the year we went to Washington, D.C. for our school trip because I had the hugest crush on her going into that trip. And then we were sat on the bus. Like I was sat on, I remember this like it was yesterday. It's so crazy. We were like 4 and 5 rows back. She was on the right side with this other girl I'm still good friends with. And then me and my buddy Josh were on the opposite side. And I heard her talking about her like Walkman wasn't working or whatever, and I gave her my CD player to use. And
what
I
a
had
G!
Limp Bizkit $3 bill in it.
$3 bill,
and she opened it to put hers in and saw that was in and like lost it. And then that was like how we first started talking. She's like, "Oh my god, you like Limp Bizkit?"
And then you took the elevator up the Washington Monument, and then got stuck. And Spider-Man came to save you.
We didn't do that.
Hey, that sounds familiar.
But our DC trip was wild. So we started talking, and then
to go to DC.
We went to
I went once.
The middle school like formal together, and then we started talking or whatever. But anyways, our DC trip was wild. We had my buddy John fell off the cliff at Gettysburg and broke his arm.
What?
Yeah, legit. He fell off
There's
the
a cliff at Gettysburg.
Yeah.
I know exactly where.
Snapped his arm. Of my one friend Daisha, they thought she was having her child on the bus.
Ooh.
And then
she's like 13 or 14.
A group of 3 kids who Nick was really good friends with at the time. I think he's still kind of friends with them now. Roth stole golf carts at the George Washington house, and they banned our school from going to the trip after that.
What a fucking bad
class.
Were
bad. Our class was so bad, bro. I got in trouble. I got busted for selling Oakleys. So you know the vendors on the streets that would sold them. I was making deals with the vendors to buy them in bulk. I was reselling them.
They were everywhere.
I got big trouble.
Them and Zippo lighters were everywhere.
Dude, we were a real bad class. We were real bad.
Were you what National Lampoon's Senior Trip is based off of?
We broke out. You know, they put tape on the doors. No, if you broke out, we didn't care. We broke out one of the girls' rooms next door. We fucking did whatever we wanted. It was the first time you're away from your parents on like, I mean, for me, it was the first time I was ever away from home.
God, what a trip.
For like a long time without my parents. We didn't sleep for 3 days. Like we went ham for like 7th, 8th grade. It was fucking wild.
And that's not a short drive either. So like Washington is what, 10 hours?
It was, I mean, I think you're in a bus too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a super long drive.
Still talking about sports.
No, got sidetracked. Well, yeah, I can tie it to sports. I bought my very first Duke hat on that trip. At some gift store in Washington, D.C.
See, Dan, there you go. It comes full circle.
Full circle. Duke got knocked out of
no, I lied. Not Duke. Nittany Lions.
Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State Nittany Lions.
I wouldn't be.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't even know why I like that. Well, I was from Pittsburgh. I liked the Penguins. I loved anything that was Pennsylvania related at the time. But I bought my very first Nittany Lions fitted hat. And then I let that girl wear it the whole time. I didn't get to fucking wear it.
Oh my god!
I gotta bust out the pictures from that. Anyways, I had another thing on here that was going to talk
got pregnant on that trip.
I don't even know. It's
just
story,
stupid. It's real. It's dumb. Some ref got beat up by a bunch of high school kids. And the reason I put it, I thought it was comical that the name of the tournament was something real like. Let me see. The name of the tournament was like Journey Through Life or something real positive.
Oh god!
And the tournament took place at a church. The name of the tournament was Love of the Game, and it took place at a church. And then a bunch of the players beat the shit out of a referee and left him with getting like 30 stitches. I'm like, yeah, go basketball.
I love that game.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you shared the story, but the link never works when you screenshot.
Oh, because it's obviously you can copy now on an iPhone. You got to copy and paste it.
Yeah, that's what I do.
But anyways, yeah, I don't really care about that story. I was just in there as a fluffer in case we didn't have much to talk about. But per usual,
that's a joke.
We've got plenty to talk about.
Got plenty.
Oh boy. Any other fun stories? You guys have did you go to DC?
Never been to DC.
I did. Yeah.
Do you have a good? You never went for school?
We never went.
Couldn't afford it at North.
No, North didn't.
Yeah, we did a class trip, and
God, I don't think we had class trips in high school. Honestly.
that's what I think is weird, because it's a 10-hour trip. Like, it's a 10-hour drive. I think it was for us.
10-hour tour.
And that's a fucking long day, man, when you're in there, even listening to music with friends. I slept for most of the ride there.
I didn't, dude.
Really?
Oh my God. And I've got pictures of the same guy, my same buddy that was 77th in the bracket.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a picture of him getting on the bus coming down the aisle doing the suck it.
Oh,
that was huge at
what
the
a
time.
sign of the times, man.
So I still have those pictures. I got to dig them out.
I got sent home for wearing that shirt.
Did the suck it?
Suck it. 2 words, suck it on the back.
That was the best thing. And then me, my buddy Demetrius Porter, and my buddy Gabor Kunstar, 7th, 8th grade. We would legit, I might have told this story on here before, but it was like the Stone Cold era. That was the guy, and the stunner was the thing. We legit would run. So in between class, when the bell would ring, we would run to find where we were from class, and we would the first person to give a person a stunner like won for the day. We
like
were just
fucking psycho,
bro. We were just stunning people at random in the hallways.
Too.
It was so fun. Book bag and all, bam, on the fucking hard ass tile floor. God,
the teachers like, what the fuck are wrong with these kids?
We were wild, man. We'd be fucking body slamming people against the lockers.
Oh my God,
we were bad. I was a bad kid.
That's why I became a pro wrestler, so I didn't have to fucking do that stuff. So I just did it in the ring.
Yeah, bro. Good fucking times. Demetrius was the first kid I ever went to wrestling. We saw it in whatever that was, 97, 98 at the Gund Arena.
Oh God,
it was fantastic.
I did every Gund Arena tour for like, I think 8 straight years. I was at every show.
That was really fun. I don't know why I haven't gone back. I wish I would have went to AEW with you.
Oh God, so fun.
I mean, I haven't been to a wrestling production in a long time, and they are really fun.
We'll go to AEW next time.
Yeah, I'd like to go for sure. Even if it's WWE.
Yeah, we can do WWE.
When they come here, it'd be fun to go to again.
They just did Canton, so that's a real intimate one, man. Yeah.
I'd like to see something at like Rocket Mortgage or something, like a big show.
The Romo Fido.
I went for Monday Night Raw is when I went. It was fun.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that's all I got.
I was there the night they bought WCW.
Were you?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was always the battle. Were you guys because you could only watch one? They were at the same time. Who did you pick? You were WWF. See, I was WCW for the longest time.
I watched both, but I was like more dedicated to WWF.
Really?
Yeah.
I liked the people of WCW more. I didn't know that much about WWF, and I don't think I really transitioned over until the acquisition happened, or NWO transferred.
It was
or
the
something.
greatest storyline for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then I finally gave WWF a chance, but before that I was all in for
D-Generation X.
When they went Attitude Era, it was over. There was no competing against that. That was the end of the game right there.
Oh man, good times.
Yep.
All right, y'all. That's it.
Boo boo.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all. That is Made to Motivate podcast. Make sure you tune into the show every week. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube so you know when the new videos launch. And check out our pages individually if you can. We appreciate the support. At Jesse Unk SI on Twitter. Chris, the Film Freak Kessinger. Check out the Film Freak Review page on Facebook. And I am Ryan Weiss. You can check out rockeverywhereinc.etsy.com to follow my art and apparel page. We appreciate the support. And, of course, at Made to Motivate podcast on all social media sites. Thanks again, and we'll check you next week.